Maybe we're meant for the moment. Maybe someday I'll be running back to you. My feet's getting
Test. Welcome everyone. What's going on? Welcome to the live stream. It's Monday, the 10th of what month are we in? July. June. We're in June still. Finally. You've been waiting. Am I a bit late? 4 minutes late. Oh my god. First time ever. How's it going? Carry on. Mate, every time I look at your Instagram, I'm like, yes, he's doing work, and then you've got another leak on your machine, and I'm fuming for you. It's winding me up. I can't imagine what it's doing to you. Finally got your machine back from your engines. Is it your engine that's been away for repair for like months and months and months? And now you finally had it back, done half a job with it, and now it's already leaking oil again. Mate, you can't catch a break. It's terrible. Mr. Myhurst? I can't read that. Welcome. Tracy, welcome. Oliver, welcome. Chris. XTX. Matt, how you doing? Been sat waiting. Was it the fastest pee ever? Has everyone got their drinks? I've got my coffee on the go. Go to Vacuum Systems Coffee. Mark, thank you. On holiday still, but can't miss the stream. You're not watching this on holiday. There's no way. Where are you? What are you doing? You can't watch little old me on your little holiday. It's back in tomorrow for a final repair, he says, hopefully. Oh my god. Where's the oil leak coming from, do you know? We went and picked up my new machine today. I've got a new employee. Jakey has joined me officially. First day today. We've just been getting some setup done, and we went over to Evesham to Pressure Washer Sales and Service, and we picked up my brand new custom Honda GX 390 and buffer tank and hose reel, and it's got all the fanciest bits you could possibly imagine. It's a very good day. Very good day indeed. We've done 4 quotes today. We went and visited 4 quotes, which is rare that I get to actually visit people these days, and we've done 4 all in the one day. I should have just whipped the phone out, pulled up the stream, and done a sit-down wee. I don't think I've ever done a sit-down wee. Glenn, how you doing, mate? Jack, you right? Away in Spain, just chilling before I go out for some grub. You need to turn me off right now and go and enjoy your Spanish holiday. You're missing out, yeah. Shall we pull up some little videos from today? This is going to be one that I'm going to edit for Monday. So you're getting a little sneaky peek. A sneaky beak.
Okay, we're at even.
Shush. How'd it go with your new guy? It's going really well. He's brilliant. I mean, he's already been out with me about 6 or 7 times, maybe. Before I offered him the job, I just sort of said, like, do you want to come out and see how we get on, and see if everything goes smoothly, see if you like it, see if we work well together, all that sort of stuff. And then I offered him a job about a month ago. He's handed his notice in at Aldi, and he had his leaving due yesterday, and now it's real. Now it's real. He's with me full time now, and it's a huge milestone for my business. It's crazy. Every day is a holiday when you're lucky enough to do a job that you enjoy. That is very true. Very true. Sit down wheeze after bad hangovers on your favourite live streamer going live. Yeah. Let's not talk about bad hangovers. I think last Sunday was the final straw, and it made me stop drinking for good. Well, for as long as I can anyway. Last Sunday has done it to me. I don't want to experience a whole day in bed feeling rough again. It's just not worth it. Is the new machine colour now called Smorange by KTM? I need to patent that. That's a good idea. Smorange. Evening, Russ. You're right, mate. Canary Islands. Ooh. Looks like it's from the engine rebuild. I think it just needs tightening in the right place. We'll definitely be investing in a spare machine at the end of the season. Congrats on the new machine. Thank you. Do you guys want to see it? There's a few videos here that I can't show you because they are absolutely top secret. Pressure washer sales and service. And Jakey's here with me, and we're just picking up this absolute beast. This is a sneak peek of next week's video, by the way. What do you reckon, mate?
Absolutely beautiful, mate. Absolutely beautiful.
You happy with it?
Delighted.
You had no clue, did you?
I didn't know. I just couldn't work out why we were here.
Originally, it was going to be just sort of one of us pressure washing and one of us sort of pushing a broom around or helping set up or whatever. But since working with my brother and Richard recently as well, having two machines with us is so much quicker. And so this is going to speed up the jobs. It's literally, we're going to get through the jobs twice as quick with these. So we've got the orange frame, orange buffer tank, and then the orange hose reel as well. Fire it up for the first time. Yeah, so it's a beast. Which one can't I show you? Just want to make sure I don't get the wrong one. So we're just adjusting the unloader valve at this point because basically you can adjust everything, and then as soon as you put the nozzle on, you want to make sure the nozzle that you're using that's appropriate for the flow rate of the machine is achieving 200 bar, and they've got a pressure gauge on it as well, and so it just needed a little bit of fine adjustment. The buffer tank's yellow. Yeah, it's orange, but it's not quite the right orange, and we knew it wasn't going to be. But I'd rather have that than like a bright blue one, to be honest. But yeah, very, very pleased indeed. It's a good day. And we've we've won like 3 of our quotes already from today, which is good. So that's about almost 1,500 quid's worth of work already. Looks unreal. It does, doesn't it? It's like the dream one. It's like the one you want when you start, and he's just going to come straight into it using some of the best equipment in the game. So it's a good position for us both to be in as well, because if anything goes wrong with my machine, it means I've got a backup as well. And it's always nice having options, you know what I mean? The only thing is, everything's taking up quite a lot of room in the van. That's the only problem, but I expected this. I knew it was going to happen. Barclay, welcome. What supplier is that from? That is from Pressure Washer Sales and Service in Evesham. These guys. So it's a 21 litre per minute, 200 bar. It's got 40 metres of high pressure hose and 50 metres of low pressure hose. Time for a second van, not just yet. Is the secret video related to the machine I sent a picture of the other day? Don't remember. I can't remember which video. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Hello, Monkey. You're right, mate. It is the new setup, Glenn. Yeah, it is. So Rich is the guy you did that big grind and repoint with 2 videos ago, and this is Jakey in the smelt hat. Yeah, Jakey. So Rich has started his own business in Walsall, and I was helping him with a bit of equipment and getting him set up with a couple of jobs over in Redditch so he could get a bit of experience with me. And then Jakey is my friend's brother who works at Aldi. By the way, there's before, with if there's any boosted members here, before what I was doing, you guys had to click on a link in the boosted section and then download the images sort of individually off the Google Drive document, and I had to go in manually and give everyone sort of access and permission to get into the folder. So I'd get a notification on my phone, so and so wants access, and then I used to have to grant the access. And obviously sometimes I'd miss those notifications, or it might be, you know, a couple of hours since I've looked at my phone. But now what I'm going to do is remove all that, and I've started putting all my before and afters in the Discord. Oops. So anyone who's a boosted member also has access to the Discord, and you can now get into the boosted images section. It's not complete yet, but basically you're going to have access to, like, there's a whole folder here for Indian sandstone, and you can use any of these pictures in your marketing and stuff, and you can actually like view them properly, and they're all in, you know, they're all in their proper folders, so you can actually get to the images that you want to get to without having to scroll through 100 previews before you get to the one you want. And it means I can post these much quicker and easier than trying to upload them to Google Drive and then manage everyone's access. So if you're a boosted member, this is now where you're going to find all of your before and after images. So I've got the block paving ones here as well. So this is going to be much easier for me to add before and afters, and much easier for you guys to access them. These are some from the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to keep adding to these every week. Gutters, fascias and soffits. That one's just got a few in there just so I could open the folder up. Solar panels, I still need to add a bunch to the solar panels. I've got loads of solar panel cleans that I need to add in. Gutter clearing. Got some decent marketing pictures for gutter clearing. Tarmac restoration. Oops. Here's a couple from the other day as well. This one's from this week. So yeah, this is going to be good for everyone, basically. Good day from Portugal. Quick question. The 5.5 gallon per minute machine with a 20-inch surface cleaner using 2502 tips. Before replacing the tips, can you just throttle the machine down to allow compatibility? Is this okay? How many tips do you have on the surface cleaner? Is it just two nozzles? Let's have a look. So it's a 20 litre per minute machine. And 20 litres, it depends on what bar it is, I guess, as well. What 2 tips, and what sort of pressure is it running? Bar or PSI? I'm assuming it's about 200. So it's about 21 litre per minute. 065, 4000. 275, that's quite high then. So 06, and you've got 2 tips, so you want to divide that by 2, so it should be 03, and then surface cleaners using 2502. You can, yeah. If you've got a pressure gauge on your outlet of your pump, you'll probably find that if you're running it on full whack, that you're hitting probably higher than 275 bars. So your pump's probably rated for like 275 bar, or that's what it's supposed to output. But if you were to use those nozzles on full blast, on full revs, unloader turned all the way up, you're probably achieving more like 300 bar. 300 bar rather than 275. And so what you can do in that situation is either drop the rev slightly, or just turn your unloader valve down so it's back down to 275 bar. And it just means you're achieving the same pressure, but you're using less water than you would do if you put bigger nozzles on it. So it's up to you. You can order new nozzles, or you can just turn everything down, and you'll still get almost the same cleaning power. You might not even notice a difference between that and 030 nozzles. How do you identify the different materials on each patio? If they're old and battered or dirty, is there a telltale sign to distinguish them? So generally the one that most people get wrong, we've got a whole section in the Discord called Identify This. And this is so something like this, for example. These are the ones that people normally stumble on because it looks like Indian sandstone, and it's because it's designed to look like Indian sandstone. But you can't really see in this particular picture, but you can see stones coming through. There's only two types of slab that you'll come across that has stones inside the slab, and the first one is concrete and the second one is granite, and these clearly aren't granite. So if you see any stones, you'll see on concrete slabs, if they're particularly weathered, the stones start to show through in certain areas. If this was Indian sandstone, they're sort of smooth throughout. It doesn't really matter how weathered they are. You won't see any aggregate inside. Let's find a better example for you. So this is granite. Here you can see stones coming through, but it's quite clearly like quartz and everything mixed in. It's like shiny, sparkly stones rather than... Is this one a good example? This one's limestone. I think we settled on, because we were looking at the... I was looking at the edge of this. I couldn't really tell from the picture because it's a little bit distorted in the corners. That almost looks like there's some aggregate coming through there, but I don't think it is. I think it's just the photo throwing us off slightly. So I'm looking over on this bit here. This looks natural. It looks like the bumpiness and waviness that you get. The other thing you'll be able to do with certain concrete pavers is you'll be able to see repeating patterns where it's been printed. I'm going to try and find a real good example for you. So here we go. This one's super old, fairly weathered. This is concrete. I'm trying to see if I can find some repeating patterns in here for you. So I think you probably can. Yeah, so these two are the same. So if you look at this one here, it's got this sort of curved bit in the corner. And then you look at that one, that's got the same little curved bit there. If you stare for long enough, you'll see repeating patterns. So this is just concrete that's been stamped, and then they usually have like a dipped coating, like when they're pressed or when they're I don't actually know how they make these, but they obviously stamp them with a mold, and then they generally dip them in like a grey or a yellow coating. And when that coating starts to fade, that's when you start to see the stones come through. You can do test patches. So if you wanted to check whether hypo is safe, you could just do like a little hypo test patch in the corner. Or if you were concerned that a patio like this was limestone, for example, you could do like an acid test. You could drop a bit of acid on it, and if nothing happens, then it's probably either concrete or Indian sandstone. If it dissolves and fizzes, then it's probably limestone. Trying to find a better example of the repeating patterns and the stones and stuff. No worries, Jack. You're very welcome. I think that one was correctly identified as slate, which was very well observed. Slate always looks a little bit strange. It looks like it's been sort of broken in some places. Looks like it's sort of snapped. It's very slate's got lots of layers, and you can tell that when it's been cut. Like this bit here, there's quite sharp, jagged edges, and you can cut slate with quite a clean cut. But then if you zoom in and look up closely, it's sort of chipped along that clean edge. It's like tiny little chips going all the way along. You can't really see from this, but it's quite rare that you come across slate patios. But you won't see any repeating patterns, and these will look like very natural sort of chamfers and stuff all across the face of the slab. Trying to find a better example for you. No. So this is Indian sandstone. This is a lot more natural. You're not going to find any repeating patterns. And again, this looks like the printed concrete ones. It looks very similar to the ones we looked at just. But you won't find any stones in these. So no matter how weathered or old they are, you'll never see any aggregate coming through. And they just generally look a little bit more natural and sort of thinner. Concrete ones are generally a little bit thicker than sandstone. And if it explodes on hypo contact, it was probably a nuclear bunker. Let's go back up. Let's Browns, welcome. How you doing, mate? Nice job on the last video. Thank you. That was just a quick video that I wanted to get out just to upload something. It's been like 2 weeks since I've uploaded a video, so I got my first decking job coming up on Friday. The plan is to go in with a fan nozzle. I have a 45 degree biggest. Is that problematic? No, 45 degrees fine. I did some decking the other day. I think I used a 65 degree, but you could get away with a 45. Are you sure it's a 45 and not a 40? I don't know if they do 45s. I think it's just 40 or 65. I might be wrong. And then clean it with Max Clean Pro. Do you think Max Clean through a backpack and a water-fed pole is good enough, or does it need a deep scrub? So a bucket and a harder brush. No, I mean, depending on... I don't think when you're applying chemicals and stuff, I don't think you're necessarily trying to scrub any grime away, or not more than what you could get with a soft brush. Some people think when you're using a brush to apply hypo or something that you're actually physically trying to scrub the black spots away, and that's not the case. You're just trying to agitate the chemical and keep the chemical active and keep it moving around and keep it where you want it, basically. And you won't have any problems with Max Clean Pro because that's very naturally foamy anyway. So when you apply it, if you're sort of gently brushing it as you're applying it, it's going to foam very quickly. But because it's decking, you'll get it where you want it, and it'll absorb nicely. But keep it wet because you need to rinse that Max Clean Pro off. It's not like Biocide. To be honest, what I would do, I'll put some pictures in the Discord. I'd potentially not even bother using Max Clean Pro on wooden decking. I think composite's a good choice for Max Clean, but on wooden decking, I'd probably just do a post-treatment and Biocide. Leave it a couple of days, and it will look like a different deck after a couple of days. It will look... Because washing decking with just a pressure washer, if it's green, it'll probably still look green after you've washed it. But then applying the Biocide and leaving it a couple of days, that's what will get rid of all the green. I think if you're trying to use Max Clean Pro on the day to try and clear all that green, I don't think it's going to achieve... I don't think it's going to do what you want it to do. I might be wrong. I don't think I've ever used Max Clean Pro on wooden decking, so there's a good chance I'm wrong. But give it a go if you've got it and you don't mind testing it. It's definitely worth a try, isn't it? So this is the deck that I did the other day. I'm still waiting to go back. It's been maybe 3 days. So this is how it started. And all I've done is go over each panel with a 65 degree fan nozzle. Takes a lot longer than you expect. imagine doing each one of these. You're holding the lance up here, holding it vertically, and going from one side of the panel all the way to the end, and then coming back down the other. A patio, to wash this sort of area of a patio with like a turbo nozzle or a surface cleaner, you'd probably wash it in less than 20 minutes. But to wash this decking probably took me about almost an hour, I reckon. And then that's the after photo. So it's not a huge difference. I mean, the customer said they were very pleased with it, but there's still a hell of a lot of green there in the middle that you can't get off with the pressure washer because it's so deeply ingrained. But now that I've biocided it, she texted me the next day saying it's already looking miles better. She said she looked out the window once it was cleaned with just water and couldn't believe it. But yeah, the difference the Biocide is going to make is going to hopefully bring it back to all looking like this instead of like this. Hi Monkey. I was going to ask, when you started out, how did you manage to get more jobs in? I'm 2 months in now. Are leaflets still the way to go, or is paying for ads worth it? Personally, I don't think, if you're only 2 months in, I don't think you've got enough content. I can't imagine you've got enough content to justify paying for ads. You could try doing some paid ads with some before and after pictures, if you've got some before and after pictures, or if you want to use some of mine. If you're a boosted member, you can do that as well. But when you've done like a sponsored post or like a paid advert on Google or on Facebook or whatever, people see your page and then they click on the link. It takes them to your homepage or whatever. If you've not got much content on there, and if you've got no reviews, it's probably going to be a bit of a waste of money. They're probably just going to... You've reminded them that they want to get some pressure washing doing, but they'll potentially not go with you because you've not got nothing on your page. So I'd recommend now just focusing on before and after pictures, building your pages. So there's some I need to do with mine. I should be adding to my Google profile, because how do you just see pictures? Photos? I haven't added to these photos for such a long time. And I think someone said with the... Is it SEO? With the SEO, if you're not keeping these pages active, then it will drop further down the list. So if you're not getting reviews, if you're not getting recommendations, and if you're not uploading photos regularly, it will slowly fall down the list because it's not like an active page. And that's similar with Facebook. If you're not keeping your Facebook profile active, people aren't going to find it. Or they'll click on your page and your last post was 3 or 4 months ago. I'm posting virtually every day so people can see everything that I'm doing. And I'm not paying for any advertising. The only thing I'm paying for is to host my... Wrong one. Is to host my website. And that does bring in a bit of work. Maybe like 2 or 3 emails a week I get from this page. But that's the only thing I'm paying for at the moment. Everything else is just me uploading these before and after pictures onto Facebook. And friends and family sharing it. People commenting on it. And I'd say before you start spending money, focus on generating content. Focus on taking pictures and videos and filling your pages up with content first. That would be my suggestion. Rich at HS Pressure Washing, he had some really good success with leaflets. He went round, and I mean, look at the houses that he's doing. He's clearly targeting the bigger areas with the bigger driveways and stuff, and he's had really good success. He's just had his van sign written. Look at that. How smart is that? It's my old van, my old baby. Oh, he's advertising repointing on there. I didn't realise. Driveways and patios, decking, repointing, gutter clearing. I gave him my old roof box the other day because it looked like he was struggling a bit for space in his van. I've been there. I know that feeling. It's very difficult, and I was doing things like what he was doing. He's keeping like kiln dried sand in the footwell, in the passenger footwell. I remember having to do that with like hypo and stuff. Such a nightmare. That looks really smart, doesn't it? I like the black and gold. Yeah, so you could keep going with your leaflets. You want to maybe look at the quality of your leaflet, maybe get opinions from various people. Like get opinions from all your different family members and stuff, and just say, if you were given this, what would your first reaction be? Because it might be, if you're not, if you're handing out leaflets and you're not getting much work from them, either you're handing them out in the wrong area. For example, if you're handing them out in a young area full of people like me, like maybe under 40, under 50, under 40, most of those people are putting your leaflets straight in the bin, I would imagine, because I do the same. If you want to target people that aren't going to find you on social media or on the internet, like the sort of older generation, look for those areas. I'm not saying target older people, but target people who aren't going to find you online. Don't waste your leaflets on people like me. Use them on sort of bigger, older houses, maybe out in the country or whatever. Because those are people that, when they get posts, they're going to look through everything. I think that's what Richard's doing as well, and he's had pretty decent success with it by the sounds of it. Look at this one he did the other day. So good. What a transformation. That's insane. Literally mint as well. It looks like there's quite bad black spots down here. He's put some time into that one. Repointed the whole lot. Even the wall. Look at that. What a difference, man. Having stuff like this on your portfolio when people click on your page would be... what more reassurance do you need that someone's going to do an amazing job than a photo like that? I have a quick question, mate. Not so much related to pressure washing, but what do you use to film your work, and what editor do you use for your YouTube videos? So for the last year or so, I've just been using my Google Pixel 6 to film everything. Recently, I've changed back to my Pixel 5 because I broke my Pixel 6. My Pixel 5 camera isn't quite as good as the 6, but it looks like a decently professional camera, I think, the Google Pixel 6. I'm looking at potentially upgrading to an 8 soon, the Pixel 8 Pro at some point. And then recently, last couple of months, I bought a DJI Action 4. Just a little action camera to help me film time lapses. It's got that nice sort of almost, it's not a fisheye lens, it's like a wide angle lens. And I've sort of broke it already. I've dropped it several times, broken the screen and all sorts, but it's good to have around, good to carry with me. Very good microphone, fantastic video quality. Amazing stabilization.
It's already going.
This is an example of the footage. And in my opinion, it doesn't look like GoPro footage. I don't like the way GoPro footage looks. I think with GoPros you can tell it's like an action camera. But with this, it looks less of an action camera and more of like a DSLR with a wide angle lens, I think. We were trying to work out here whether I needed ramps or not. And Jake is convinced that we don't need ramps because he's hench. Look how big he is, man, like the size of his arms. And he lifts correctly as well. There's me bending over trying to grab it off the floor.
He's got the engine side. That's actually not too, is that too bad? If you want to like reduce your days at the gym.
Yeah. What was the question? Can't remember. Yeah, so I've been using that camera more lately, but I would still quite happily use my phone. I think the video quality is amazing on the phones these days. Well, I sound like an old man, don't I? Any charts like that for bar versus surface material? No, I think it's open to interpretation a little bit. It's not, Darren, it's not, I don't think you could say this is how much pressure you need to use on tarmac and this is how much pressure you need to use on Indian sandstone, for example, because there's too many variables. You can have a 15-degree nozzle at 150 bar that would leave etch lines and all sorts on concrete, and then you could have a 40-degree nozzle at the same bar, same flow, that wouldn't leave marks. So it's also, you've also got to take into account the nozzle type as well, and how old the surface is, how soiled it is. So if there's lots of ingrained moss on tarmac, for example, you might want to turn the pressure up slightly, depending on whether it can take it or not. There's different grades of tarmac, so different types of quality tarmac. Sometimes you've got industrial style car parks that you could blast it with a turbo nozzle and it'd be absolutely fine. Other times you've got sort of lighter, thinner residential tarmac that you shouldn't use a turbo nozzle on. It would be nice to have an exact, like a sheet, a spreadsheet to go off, or a chart to go off to give you, I mean, maybe someone could work on it and maybe you'd have to base it off of your own experience. It'd be very subjective to your own experiences and the surfaces that you've come into contact with. It would be nice for beginners to be able to look at a chart and think, right, I need to use this nozzle, this pressure, and away I go, sort of thing. That would be very, very useful, but I don't know if anyone could make that. There's too many variables. What cleaner do you suggest for conservatory roofs? I've got the first one coming up on Thursday. So a lot of us use TFRs, or you could use Synergy. So I'm sure you know what a TFR is. It's traffic film remover. And there's all types of different ones. You can get caustic, you could get non-caustic. I think I use the Car Plan TFR. Is it Car Plan? No, I can't remember the one that I use. Otherwise, and just like dilute it at whatever dilution ratio it says on the tub. Otherwise, you could use Synergy Pro from Pure Seal, and this is arguably got more use cases than just TFR alone has. So you can use this as a degreaser, you can use it as an oil stain remover, you can mix it with hypo, so it's really good for concrete. If you want to use hypo for organic stain removal, and then the sort of degreasing effects that you get with Synergy in the same batch mix, it's safe to do that. Great for removing grease and good for siding, cladding. So a lot of people use this for conservatory roofs and PVC and all that sort of stuff. The only thing you've got to be careful of with TFR and Synergy is not allowing it to dry on the surface. And the sun's been out quite a lot lately. It's been getting a little bit warmer. And so if you were to spray it on with a water-fed backpack or whatever, and then allow it to dry, if you leave it on there for more than about 5 minutes and it starts to dry off, and then you brush it off with some pure water or normal water, whatever you're going to end up using, there's a chance you'll be left with sort of watermarks or streaks where the product has dried on. So you don't want to leave it on for too long. You want to try and keep it wet, and you can do that by just applying more product or rinsing it off quicker. If you do end up with those watermarks or sort of staining, especially on like gutters and soffits and stuff when you're using TFR, if you do find, especially the black or the brown gutters, if you do find that it's drying with sort of marks where your chemical's dried on, you can just reapply the chemical and then rinse it off nice and quickly, and that should clear it. I hope that helps. No problem, Lava. Thank you for clearing that up for me, mate. Appreciate it. No problem, Jack. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to keep them coming. I've got some bits that I want to talk about, but nothing crazy, so happy to sit here and try and answer questions the best I can. Just bear in mind, I've only been doing this for like 3 years, and so the stuff that I don't know, there's answers that I'm going to give you guys that if you were to ask someone else, potentially with a lot more experience, they'd give you a totally different answer. So just take what I say with a pinch of salt. I wouldn't consider myself a professional. I just enjoy what I do, and so I read up on stuff and I do research, and I've got a bit of experience now, and so you're just getting information based on my experience. Anyone use an anti-vibration PA turbo? What's a PA turbo? PA Italy. Yeah, I didn't know they were anti-vibration though. Is this marketed as anti-vibration? Low vibration turbo nozzle. How can that be low vibration? I wonder what's inside to make it low vibration. Allows the user to start the nozzle in any position without causing damage. I don't understand the difference there, but I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's good. The other thing you can do with a turbo nozzle to reduce vibration is to fix it to the end of the lance. Instead of plugging it in with a quick release, you can hard fix it into the end of the lance, which is what we've done here.
Okay, we're ready.
Shush. So see what we've done there, look. Turbo nozzle on this lance. And then we've got the quick release for these ones on this one. So can I zoom? I want to zoom. Can't zoom. So there's no quick release on this lance. It's just screwed straight onto the end of the lance and it's got obviously PTFE tape on it as well. And that will reduce like the wobble. If you were to put a turbo nozzle with a 1/4 inch quick release into the end of this one, like we do with the fan nozzles. Darren from PWS told me this. It introduces, say that's your lance and that's your nozzle. it introduces a little bit of wobble while it's rocking, because the little ceramic thing inside is spinning like that, and there's a little bit of play in that 1/4 inch quick release fitting. It's introducing much more vibration down the lance. So if you screw that onto the end and hard fix it. Oh, Darren's here. Welcome, Darren. You're right, mate. Just talking about you.
And then the
Where's the after photo? Are you talking about my decking, Craig? You cheeky monkey. I spent a long time on that. This is where you got to set the customer's expectations if they're anything like Craig, and they think, oh, it hasn't been cleaned. You got to tell them it's not going to look good today, but once we put the chemical down and come back in a couple of days, it's going to look brilliant. It's 138 meters square of decking. Oh my god, that's a big one. I've allowed for 2.5 days in my timeline, with accounting for moving everything off, all the spindles, so many spindles. It's a 2-tier decking. All the poles, you mean like the railings going around the outside, that they take ages as well, because if you're lucky, you'll be able to get, because they're square. See if I can show you what I mean. So these little spindly boys here, the little ones, you can probably get them in one shot. You could do 2 sides with the fan nozzle. The big ones, you can't. So you'll have to do one side. So you'll have to hit this post 4 times from each angle. The little ones, you should be able to hit twice. So one from the front, one from the back. And then you'll get all the green off. But these little poles take way longer than you expect. Like, you think I'll just give them a blast, but then if you imagine you've got to go up and down each one and then go around the other side and do the same on the back as well. Takes ages. People really, really underestimate decking. Well, I did. I underestimated decking. And then the people that have done decking for the first time, they'll come into the Discord and they'll say, yeah, it took way longer than I expected it to. Been busy today, mate. We've been to pick up I took my daughter swimming this morning, which I don't normally do on a Monday. So did that. Picked up Jakey. Went and picked up my new machine, or Jakey's new machine. And then we've gone and done 4 quotes. And we've got a full calendar for like a month and a half now. And they're all big jobs. We've got multiple jobs a day. They're all big ones. Yeah, we're trying to do in the region of around about £500 a day. Some days it's £350. Other days it's like £650 or something. But I'm booking jobs in now. Now that I've got 2 of us and we've got 2 machines that we can use, I'm able to put slightly bigger jobs in. Jobs that ordinarily on my own would have took a day. Or a day for me, which is like maybe 9 till 2. That's my day. And then the rest is admin. I'm now able to put like 2 of those in. And we might be working, for example, 8:30 till 3 or 4. But it means we've done 2 of those big jobs. And so the amount of inquiries that are coming in, I woke up to 4 this morning. Since last night, I've woke up to 4, and I've had people just constantly message me all day. It's been crazy, and it's because the sun's out, and everyone wants it like next week, and it's like, you've left it so last minute to get in touch with me. I can get you booked in a month and a half. How's that? My next. I just did a quote for July 20th, I think it was. I can't remember. Yeah. Oh no, that's a Saturday. Must have been July 21st. Hello.
Hi.
You're right.
Yeah. Where's your headphones?
Say hello.
Hello.
Oh yeah, say hello.
Hello.
Hello. I saw my headphones. I think they're on my bedside table.
Okay.
Or on Maya's table. Because I was wearing them last night.
You might be there.
Yeah. Have you been busy, James? Thanks, mate. I was debating buying a GoPro, but I'll check the DJI. Yeah, I went for the one with 3 batteries as well, which is useful. But I've just realised my power bank that I bought a while ago that I don't use, this will charge my DJI, and this probably has the capacity of about 5 of these little batteries. What's the capacity on this? 1700 milliamp, and this is 5000 milliamp. What's that?
1700
3 of them?
to 5000.
Yeah. It's about 3 of them in one power bank, so I can but I'd have to sort of sellotape this or gaffer tape it to the stick, to the selfie stick, and then I could just plug it in with the USB-C and charge it like that. I can charge it while it's running. So I might do that at some point. If I do a live stream, I'm thinking about how to do live streams while I'm out on a job. I think that'll be potentially the next stage of the videos, is being able to live stream on site. And that'll be where this comes in. I'll be able to stream for literally 6 hours. This chair is so squeaky. I tried to grease it the other day, but it hasn't worked. What was the not weed killer that you mentioned last week? Was it from PWS?
Right, gotta go.
Alright. Love you.
Okay.
Did you not manage to do that coffee for me?
Oh, I've just been lying in bed.
Oh,
Come on.
come on, please. It doesn't take long, does it? It's very, very quick. Very quick. Thank you so much. So the not weed killer from PWS, it's actually not a weed killer at all. It's a it's a patio cleaner. It's a hard surface cleaner. But it's definitely not a weed killer. Where is it? It's called Project A. This one here. And this is not on the website. You have to phone up for this. This was day 1. 2.5 days later. And then a week later. I believe Darren might be able to correct me, but I believe it's just acetic acid. So you can get acetic acid from anywhere basically. If you can get it from Darren, you'll be supporting Darren. If he doesn't have any in stock or whatever, you can also get it on Amazon. 30% acetic. Hope that helps. No worries, Browns. You're very welcome. Can't remember what I answered. Oh yeah, I remember. So I just got delivery today of a GX 390 21 litre per minute. Was very careful and everything was fine, but my god, is it a beast. So with experience you can tell what you probably should go for. Minimum starting point would be good. So with experience you can tell what you would probably should go for minimum starting point. What do you mean, Darren? Sorry, you lost me a little bit there. Oh, you mean for surfaces? For different surfaces. I see what you're saying. It's very hard to say. It's mainly nozzles. It's mainly which type of nozzle you're using. So fan nozzles on things like natural stone, and then block paving, you're going to want a turbo nozzle. I'm sure you've already got that. If you've got a GX390, it's probably come with a turbo nozzle. So that's what I'd mainly use that turbo nozzle for block paving. I don't think you want to use it on much else just yet, because you could potentially cause some serious damage. Don't get your turbo nozzle anywhere near wood, because you'll leave lots of little rings all up the wood and you'll permanently damage it. You can get away with using your turbo nozzle on concrete occasionally. Don't get too close with it, but most of the time concrete slabs and even poured concrete, you can generally get away with using your turbo. If you're concerned at all that it's a delicate surface, use a wider fan nozzle. So your machine has probably come with maybe like a 25. It's probably come with a 15, a 25 and a 40. Your 15 degree nozzle, you're probably only going to use that for rinsing down. Your 25 and your 40 is going to be for like delicate surfaces. What have you found is best for advertising / bringing in more inquiries? Posting on local Facebook groups. So spend an afternoon looking through Facebook for all your local pages. So in my area, in my town, I've got a page called the Webheath Forum. There is Abbeydale Community Group. There is Aswood Bank signpost or something, and all these different local groups will allow you. Some of them won't allow any advertising, but others will allow you to sign up and advertise your business once a week. And every time I've done it, it's always brought in immediate work. Within 24 hours, I've had 4 or 5 inquiries from one post in one page. So if you can sign up to a bunch of them, don't spam them, because you'll get a warning, or people will start getting annoyed with your posts. And ideally, something that worked really well for me is that the Aswood Bank one, which is just up the road from me, I'd done some work in Aswood Bank, put the before and after pictures on my Facebook page, and then I shared that, and it said, today I've done some work in Aswood Bank, here's some before and after pictures. I shared that post onto the Aswood Bank forum and said, hi guys, I've been in Aswood Bank today, check out my work, get in touch if you need anything. And based on that one post, I got about 4 inquiries that evening. Because if people know that you're local, you're not just coming from the other side of Birmingham to try and get as much work as you possibly can. If people know you actually live in the area, or you're already working in the area, there's a little bit more trust. Got a pressure gauge installed too. Is a lifesaver being able to dial it in. Yeah, pressure gauge is underrated. Not a lot of people have them on their machines, but I think it's really good to repeat work that you've done before. So if you're using a very specific pressure on limestone, for example, or on tarmac, and you've dialed it in and it's perfect, you want to repeat that on the next one that you go to, you can just write it down and think, okay, I used 150 bar on the tarmac and I was using this nozzle and it was great. I'd like to be able to do something like that for Jakey, for my new starter, because it'd be ideal for him to just be able to reference some sort of sheet that says this is what you use on this surface. It would be very, very useful. Use Velcro straps for the power bank. Ooh, that's a good idea. That's a fantastic idea. Thank you. I will order some of those. I'm hot. I'm going to have to open the window. Has anyone had painted garage door that's sun damaged slightly so it looks faded and caught it with the turbo, swiped across it like I did? Anyone know how to clean it evenly? I mean, you've stripped that paint, haven't you? So yeah, like Steve says, you could try and blend it in, but you could end up making it look a lot worse. You might have to just bite the bullet and offer to repaint it. That would go a longer. I tried blended it, but it just looked worse. I was thinking TFR. If you've stripped paint, it's never going to look good again, is it? You know what I mean? I mean, as a gesture to the customer, if it's someone you want to do work for again, I would suggest just going back with and just saying, I'd like to repaint it for you if you'd allow me. Pay for the paint. Don't charge them any extra for your time. Oh, it's not stripped paint. It's sun damage and it looks faded. You could try a hairdryer. You could try heating it up with certain surfaces, especially plastic surfaces. If you run some heat over it, it can bring back the colour. That might be total nonsense. I've seen it done on multiple surfaces. It looks like it works well. I don't know if TFR is going to do anything, to be honest. I wonder if Synergy would do it. Does it look anything like the one on the Pure Seal website? Thank you so much. What is that?
Iceberg.
Thank you.
Go down.
Appreciate it, Beebs. Have a nice run.
Okay.
Are you swimming?
No.
Just running. McFlurries?
No.
Okay.
We've had pudding. And you've got puddings downstairs. Stop being naughty.
Got a new unloader valve fitted last week. Returned to tank and a 0.40 turbo. I'm flying through work now. Literally, I'm blown away with it. Nice. That's awesome. You've got the equipped to clean machine, haven't you? The correct turbo can absolutely. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say those words. This is all still wet, so it's hard to say. You know, when you wet that garage door, does it look good when it's wet? And does it just look crap when it's dry? I think it's oxidization being cleaned off by the turbo. It was clean underneath, but uneven. It seemed every time I touched it, I made it look worse. So I left it and I'll go back to sort it. Yeah, you could try Synergy. I don't know, to be honest, mate. I'm not too sure.
You don't put my fire while we're on.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Right. Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow night.
Okay.
In a bit. It still looks good wet, so that's promising. So there's something you can do then. You could maybe try, I don't know. Hello, Darren. You right, mate? What are you up to tonight? You busy? Yeah, colour restorer, some sort of colour restorer. Car polish, that's a very good idea, car polish. Because if it looks good when it's wet, it means the colour hasn't been stripped. So if you can polish it. I did it to a raised bed made of decking on my first job, made a right mark on it, just went back with fence paint and repainted the whole thing. Customer was gushing with glee. Ugh. Is that a good thing? Sounds like a good thing. How do we join the Discord? I'm glad you asked. Now these videos take a lot of time and effort to film and edit on top of trying to run a successful pressure washing business. If you find any of the information in my videos useful, then I'd like for you to consider becoming a paid member of the channel. Circle members and above will get access to my private Discord for members only, where you can pretty much get a hold of me 24 hours a day for inspiration, technical help, marketing advice, or just a general chat. I post pictures and videos that you won't see on any of my other socials. You'll be the first to hear about giveaways, special offers and announcements, and it's just generally a nice place full of like-minded people who are all heading towards similar goals. We've got various different experience levels, we've got a few professionals in the chat as well. If you want to push your business, in my opinion, this is the place to be. We also have two other membership tiers. One is just to show a bit of support for the channel, and the other one is for boosted members, which will not only give you access to the private Discord, but also loads of high quality promotional images for you to start your business. I know what it's like when you're ready to get going, but you don't have any before and after pictures to put on your leaflets. At the moment, there's about 150 images that you can use for pretty much whatever you like, and my intention is to constantly update these over the next few years with all of my before and afters that have helped promote my business. Last thing before I let you go, new videos come out every Monday night at 5:30, and then I go live at 7:30 to chat to you guys and answer as many questions as possible. We do live quotes for real customers and just generally keep up to date with everything going on in the pressure washing world. Thanks for watching, back to the video. Sorry about that. Between your gutter vacs, what job has forced you to get the big one out and pack up the Panther, deciding whether it's worth spending the extra 400 quid and future-proofing myself from day one? So, the odd occasion where you might need a bigger vacuum, for me, is not worth the versatility of having a Panther in your arsenal. So, trying to hoik a massive great vacuum around if you're mostly doing domestic, the Panther is like a must-have, in my opinion. It's not fun doing domestic gutters with a huge vacuum that you've got to try and move around these properties, because you've got narrow gangways, you've got steps, you've got all sorts of stuff that the Panther vacuum is absolutely fine with. I'll show you one picture on a commercial job where I was using the Panther. Have a look at this one. So this is the Panther. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 poles. That's all of them. That's 40 feet. And they cleared these top gutters absolutely fine. Admittedly, there wasn't much in there. If there was massive growth and stuff in these top gutters, the Panther's potentially going to struggle to pull that out. But this is like a one-off. I never have to use 10 poles. The Crocs in your ad is a peak advertising. I've just got some new Crocs. Soph's just bought me some new Crocs for Father's Day, but they're black. Told her to step her game up. But at the point where, if you consider this, if 95 to 98% of your jobs are going to be domestic jobs, the Panther is the better vacuum, 100%. On the odd occasion where you get some commercial work and you need a bigger vacuum, at that point, you've got experience, you've got jobs under your belt, and you've landed some commercial work, which in itself is probably going to pay for the bigger vacuum. You don't need to buy the poles again. You just need to buy the bigger vacuum. Will them extension poles only fit that vacuum? No. No, they fit all the vacuums. Sold on the Panther. Do you have an affiliate code or whatever, or do I need to nag Julia to give commission? If you could do that, that'd be awesome. I don't have an affiliate code for GVS. No. You just missed out. They had a 15% off sale when the Cleaning Expo was on. If you say, Smelty Boy sent me, is there anything you can do? Can I have a Smelty special? Look at me slurping. You've just left work, Darren. You need to try and find some sort of work-life balance, mate, because if you're working late every single night, you're going to burn out. How's Darren, if you're still here, how's the balance going at the moment? Are you, I know you've been very, very busy these last few months. Are you catching up on stuff? Like, I know you were, I think some days you were like stopping people from just sort of walking in and doing walk-in repairs and stuff, because you're just trying to focus on the orders rather than randomers turning up. Are you sort of getting back on track with all that now? Would you always recommend a chemical wash on driveways and patios, or only to lift the lichen and black spots if needed? Good question. Say, for example, on a... Let's pull up some pickies. I got hiccups. Let's just take this as an example. If I hadn't have chemically treated this particular patio, like you say, I wouldn't have got any of these black spots up. But also, even if there weren't any black spots, and if I cleaned it and it looked fantastic with just water alone, when the algae starts to grow back, because you haven't killed anything, you've just washed it and it looks clean, but it's actually not clean. If you haven't used like an organic stain remover or a black spot remover or hypo or biocide, that algae or lichen or moss or whatever is going to start growing back in the areas where you haven't got as close with the pressure washer, for example. So you might find that in 5 or 6 months time, maybe even less than that, that you start to see like either turbo nozzle marks or cleaning marks, and it looks like, oh, someone's cleaned that, but they've done a terrible job. But actually, it looked amazing on the day, but a couple months later, you start to see the algae growing back in those places where you've cleaned more thoroughly and maybe not cleaned as thoroughly over here. That doesn't happen if you use some sort of bleach or biocide, because the bleach will kill everything that's ingrained in the patio and it won't grow back in that pattern. So not only are you like sterilizing and sanitizing the surface, but you won't get that weird regrowth. Sometimes you can see where someone's used a turbo nozzle on like a patio that was cleaned months ago. You start to see turbo nozzle marks growing back in the algae. And that's just because they haven't chemically treated it, basically. And the other thing that it'll do is, say on block paving, for example, I never used to block paving always seems to come up okay without any sort of chemical most of the time. Unless it's heavily black spotted, like this looks quite bad. This looks like quite a dirty driveway and it's quite weedy. There's lots of moss, but actually cleaning it with just water alone got me these results. I didn't use any chemicals on this one because I didn't think with block paving it was necessary. Now I've learned about, you know, how it sort of sanitizes the area, kills everything, and it, once it's sort of bleached, that that moss and algae isn't going to grow back as quick. And also what it does, well, this is something that I've told myself, I haven't had this clarified. Let me know what you guys think about this in chat. When hypo becomes dormant, it turns into salt. So sodium hypochlorite, after about an hour or two, it falls between the joints. You know, you rinse it off or whatever, and then what's left turns to salt. And weeds don't like salt. Some people use salt as a weed killer, like salty water. Hot salty water, you put it down as a weed killer sometimes. And so my thought process was, if you're using hypo, if you've cleared all those weeds and cleaned a drive, and then you post treat it with hypo, not only are you going to sanitize the area, but you're potentially going to leave some salt residue that the weeds don't agree with. Is my logic, where's my logic on that? Because I haven't ran this past anyone. This is just something that's been floating around in my head. Either way, I just feel like I'm giving the customer a much better value for money if I'm using a hypo treatment or a chemical treatment on block paving. If you're going to do biocide on block paving, I learned recently that I should probably resand the area first and then apply the biocide. Because if you're cleaning the block paving, biociding it, and then resanding it, that sand hasn't been treated with biocide, so you can still get moss growth. Whereas if you resand first and then biocide, that sand's been treated and it probably won't allow moss to grow. The Shadow is a good deal. It's the same price as the Panther, but it has 2 motors. Really? I didn't know that. Is it bigger? Is it just bigger capacity? $3,400. So the bigger ones are 3,600. The Shadow is 3,400. So with the aluminium poles, that's more expensive, isn't it? So let's go 32 feet. No pole bag is $1,000. Versus the Panther. With the aluminium poles. 32, did I say? No pole bag. That's 700 quid. Am I looking at the wrong one? 170 with alley poles, 40 foot no bag. What do you mean 10? Oh, 40 foot no bag alley poles, 1070. The Panther, 40 foot. Oh, it doesn't go up to 40 foot. Am I missing something? Have I got the right machine here? These are the 500 gram poles as well. Oh, they are. They're the same. No worries, Jack. You're very welcome, mate. The GVS 3600 is a beast, I can confirm. I've got the Panther and I've got the 3600. It's crazy mental, never stops. Does that mean you're catching up or not? I'm like, when people ask me, I always and ah as to whether to send them to you or not, because I know you're getting pretty overwhelmed at the moment, so I don't want to add to your workload if you're struggling a little bit, you know what I mean? I tagged Julia in the equipment chat channel. I think that should do the trick. Good idea. I'm glad Darren's working late, hopefully getting my machine built. There you go. Do you know much about Delta pressure washers? Looking at adding the pressure washer into my business and visited my local pressure washer sales place today, and these are the ones they sell. If you've tried to post a link, no one in the chat is able to post links, unfortunately, but let's have a look. Delta pressure washer. Do you know which one? Which model? And this looks like the, oh my god, pop-ups, what? This looks like a very sort of generic frame that is quite common. It's probably just a brand. Oh my god, these pop-ups. A lot of these, a lot of pressure washers will have like a Lonsin or a Honda engine and a pump, and then they'll just buy a trolley, fit everything together, and then stick a brand on it. They're all very similar. It just depends on. So it's an Interpump GX 200, which is a slightly smaller one. If you let me know which one you're looking at, mate, we can sort of do a little comparison. It looks like they're recognised that it's Honda engine, Interpump, pump. I don't think you can really go wrong. 15 litre per minute, and it had an Interpump. Yeah, it's just a 14, 15, 200 bar, 15 litre per minute. 250 bar. You probably want to go for the 250 bar over the 200 bar if possible. Get a bit of extra cleaning power for your 15 litres per minute. Had a Honda GX 360. You sure it weren't a 390? This one's a 390. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that, mate. Absolutely fine. 10 meters high pressure hose. Looks like it's got some nice fittings on it. Just sort of depends on what lance and stuff it comes with. 2-piece lance assembly. Yeah, sounds fine, doesn't it? Sounds fine. Looks like a decent deal as well. Yep. Go crazy with it. I bought the GVS 3600 and then the pole kit. It worked out cheaper, did it? Did you get the pole kit from Gutter Vacuum Systems though? So GVS have some of the lightest poles on the market apparently. They're definitely lighter than the ones that I got from Equip to Clean. Let's have a look. Let's catch up on some questions. Hiya Stephen. Just wondering what Biocide you use. I'm presuming it's Pure Seal, but is it Backclear Pro or BioClear Pro? It's Backclear Pro, mate. No, it's here. So as far as I'm aware, the only difference between the two Biocides is that the BioClear Pro will work better in minus temperatures. So if it's freezing or if it's very low temperatures, I can't remember which one's alcohol based. But saying that, I've actually used the Backclear Pro when there's been a frost and it still worked perfectly fine, exactly as I wanted it to work on a roof. So the BioClear Pro is considerably more expensive as well. So I'd definitely go for the back clear personally, which is this one here. Let's do a comparison. So back clear Pro from 35 quid. I should have clicked on it. So 5 litres is 35 quid. And then the BioClear Pro, 5 litres is 60 quid. So considerably more expensive. I believe this works better in lower temperatures and in areas that have got hard water. So when you're diluting it, if you've got hard water coming out of the tap, I think the BioClear Pro is better, but you might want to do your own research on that because I can't confirm. John Campbell, welcome mate, new to the channel, but I've been binging the content recently. Very curious on how you deal with bookings and if jobs run longer than expected, or whether or the weather means you can't do it, resanding, etc. Generally, the only jobs that I can't do if it rains are resanding and potentially gutter clearing, vacuuming the gutters. Everything else I can pretty much crack on and do. Maybe Biocide. Can't do Biocide in the rain. Even hypo. I mean, if it's raining while I'm doing a chemical treatment, I'll just make the chemical treatment stronger, because the cost of the chemical that I'm putting down to make it stronger is less of a cost than it would take me to pack up and come back on a dry day. Do you know what I mean? But when it comes to rebooking work, it's very annoying and very stressful actually. It doesn't happen often. I very rarely have to let my customers down. I don't book resanding. I don't give people a day that I'm going to come back and resand. So for block paving, I'll always say, I'll book you in for the clean on this date. Resanding will be done on a dry day following the wash. And then when I'm on the job, they'll probably say, when are you going to come back to do the sand? And I'll say, I can't give you an exact day. It's very much based on weather and my availability, but I'll definitely try and get to you within 7 days. I don't like to leave it any longer than about 7 days. If you've got a run of 7 days where it's raining every day, there's nothing you can do about it. But generally, to sand an average size driveway, it's going to take half an hour to 45 minutes generally, if you're pretty quick with it. You can do that. You can wake up a little bit early and do that on a dry morning at some point. It's not a massive job really in the grand scheme of things, and you're not making loads of noise. There's no setup involved. As long as their car's off the drive, you can go back and resand whenever pretty much. Just tell them, weather's looking good tomorrow. I'll try and get to you at some point tomorrow. If you can just leave the car off the drive, that'd be great. You don't have to give them an exact time or day, because as far as they're concerned, the job's pretty much done, isn't it? The cleaning side of things has been done. And if you're not desperate for the money, don't take the money up front. Just say, if they say, when do you want me to pay you? Do you want me to pay you when you've cleaned it or when you've resanded it? Just say whatever you're happy with. I don't mind. I'm happy to wait, come back when I've sanded it, because then in your mind the job's done then, and you're getting paid for when the job's done, not when it's sort of half complete and now you're stressing out thinking, I took their money but I've not been able to get back there for like a week. I went to a job, my cousin actually, it's my cousin's house over in Birmingham. I forgot to go back and resand his. I've been doing so many jobs recently. I didn't have it booked in the calendar to go back and resand because it was like a last minute job that I sort of squeezed in somewhere. I didn't remind myself. I'll still put it in the calendar. When I book a job, and it's block paving, I'll book in the calendar the clean, and then in a different colour, 2 or 3 days later, I'll do the resand, but I won't put it in for any specific time. That resand is flexible. That is very much weather dependent. It might even go on the same day. If it dries up quick enough, I might just do it on the same day and get it over and done with. But I will bear in mind that I've got to do that resand later on in the week. So I'm not putting loads and loads of jobs in because I know I've got to fit all these different resands in. So if I've done 3 block paving jobs at the start of the week, I'm not going to put too many jobs in at the end of the week because I know I need to come back and resand them. It's important to have them in the calendar, but have the time flexible, is what I'm trying to say. Very long-winded, I'm sorry. I do it through Outlook. I'm just using Outlook, email and calendar, and I just book all my jobs in on that. It's very, I have it on my phone, I have it on the laptop. Very easy to use. Do any of you smash your knuckles when pulling the GVS 3600 along? Yes. What is that design all about? You pull the handle back, and the vacuum, because it's on like a pivot on a hinge, the vacuum falls onto your knuckles. I thought I was the only one. Yeah. Jake, I asked you last week about ceiling pattern imprinted coloured concrete. They want me to do a test patch sundial in the middle of the patio without any colour. Would this work with matte sealer? Yeah. Yeah. There's something they say on the Smart Seal website about matte sealer. I think you can only use the... Just bear in mind, I think you can only use the colour, the tint additive with the matte sealer. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember which one actually. Imprinted concrete. Let's look at the tint additive. And it says only recommended to be used in combination with the matte sealer. Yeah. Crazy that I just remembered that. Why do I remember stuff like this and I don't remember my family's birthday? You know what I mean? Biscuit, Tudor brown, deep tan. So what you can also do, I think we discussed this last week, but what you can also do, they say this in the Smart Seal web in the video. If it looks good while it's wet, if the colour, so if it's faded or white, and then you put some water on it, and the colour comes back through, and it looks quite consistent and good. That's how it's going to look when it's sealed. The colour will come back. Whereas if you wet it and there's no colour pigment left because it's faded and it's worn, that's when you need to add a tint. But they also say just be very, very careful with the tint. Sometimes tinting is much more trouble than it's actually worth. And occasionally you'll ring them and they'll advise you against tinting. Even if you think you need it and you really want to do it, they'd advise you against it. So just be careful with it. But yeah, you can do a test patch. If they've got like a sundial shape in the middle, yeah, by all means do a test patch on it. Just bear in mind, keep note of how many coats that you're using on each area. Because if you're going to do one area and put 2 coats on that, and then they say we want you to come back and do the rest, you've got to put 2 coats on everything else and not that bit. Because the more coats you put on, the darker it gets. Not necessarily the darker, but I think... What is it? Yeah, the more intense the colour goes, I think. I know with some of the colour enhanced sealers, the more coats you apply, the more punchy the colour looks. And also with the non-matte sealers, the more coats you apply, the more wet look it goes as well. So you build up the layers and it looks smoother and sort of shinier. No smashing knuckles, but when you fill it up and have to carry it down the steps, it makes me want to punch myself. 15 litre, I think it had an interpump, had a Honda GX 360, 250 bar. Okay. 390, yeah. What's the interaction slash... Did I read that right? What's the interaction slash difference between pressure and litres per minute? Does more litres per minute not inherently mean more pressure? Exactly, yeah. So flow rate, which is litres per minute, is literally how much water is going through your hose. Pressure is generally based on the nozzle that you put on the end, is how much pressure it's gonna... It's like putting your thumb over the end of a hose pipe. That's pressure. You've still got the same amount of water coming through, it's just how much you're restricting it. And that generates force and like cleaning power. There's a good sort of calculation you can do. If you multiply the PSI by the litres per minute, or is it the bar? I can't remember. It's PSI. If you want to compare machines, you could do like 15 litres per minute times 4,000 PSI equals 6,000. Sorry. I'm butchering this. 15 litres per minute times 250 bar, for example. Okay, that's it. Do it by bar. 15 litres per minute times 250 bar is 3,750 cleaning power. And then if you want to do times 200 bar instead, it's 3,000 cleaning power. It's a arbitrary number, but it gives you a good reference as to how sort of effective it's going to be overall. If you want to compare like 3 different machines, work out that cleaning power and see which one works out as the best. Generally, it's more about flow than it is about pressure. This chair is not comfortable. I need to get a new one again. I'm not sure if I explained that very well. I'm sorry. Mine tips the drum into my hand when I pull it. Yeah, that's what it does to me. It also pings the clips off when I tip the drum. Yes, that's what it does to me too. Needs a tweak to the design of the frame. Yeah, I agree. I think it needs to tip the opposite way. I think. Yeah, if it tips the opposite way, I don't know. Maybe. Darren says, always send. We will be caught up with 2 and 4 wheels by the end of the week. Van systems will be a list until forever, I'm guessing. Delta, okay, just accessories will let it down. Yeah, that's the bit that it's not really showing you on the photos on those websites, is which lance it comes with, which adapters for the hose that it comes with. And that's where, like, going to someone like Darren from PWS, or going to my local supplier, Pressure Washer Sales and Service, that's where you can see the difference in the sort of fittings that they're putting on the machines. They're going to last so much longer with the higher quality fittings. You're not going to be constantly popping O-rings and having to replace O-rings and having leaks and failures and bursts. Those higher quality fittings, for the slight extra expense that you're going to pay for them, are going to easily pay for themselves in time that it takes you to do all these little minor repairs every so often. It's going to make your machine run smoother because you're not going to have as many sort of pinhole leaks. Go somewhere that you know supply the highest quality stuff, because it very much will pay for itself. They priced up a Delta 200 bar 15 litres per minute at 1740 plus VAT. Yeah, ideally I'd probably, if it's 15 litres per minute, just go for the 250 bar instead of the 200 bar. I would personally, if it's not going to be too much extra money. Where are you based, Adam? Whereabouts are you? Thanks for the reply. Follow-up question. Would you advise someone who is new, only booking one job per day, or one in the morning, one in the afternoon, while learning how long jobs take? Yeah, I mean, a big thing, I don't know what you guys think with pressure washing. Let's do a little bit of a poll, actually. Because even now, to this day, I underestimate how long jobs take. I'm sure I can blast through certain jobs and just get in and out. But actually, if you want to spend the time making sure you're tidying up properly, putting everything back where it came from, chatting with the customer, actually building relationships with people, that's where things take a little bit longer. I'm going to start this poll, and I'm just going to go for a quick wee. Do jobs take longer than you plan generally? Start poll. I'm just going to pop to the toilet. I'll be back in a sec. I'm just going to take a short break to talk about Mosier, who have kindly sponsored this video. As some of you guys already know, I like to quote all of my jobs based on a price per square metre for each different surface type. In the beginning, when I was pricing up driveways and patios, I used to just take a tape measure with me. Not only do I think that looks a little bit unprofessional, but I also think it falls apart when you want to measure any kind of curved area without being some sort of maths genius. Then I gradually switched over to Google Earth, but I found myself constantly questioning the accuracy in the measurements. And also, most of the time, the images were too shadowy or blurry to get a decent view of the area. One of my landscaping friends recommended the Mosier 1 to me because he said it's way more accurate than any of those other methods, and it was speeding up the time it was taking him to put these quotes together. The Mosier 1 literally measures down to the millimetre, and you can quickly plot out any shaped driveway, patio, steps, curves, walls. I've not come across one thing that it hasn't tackled yet. It's been a few weeks since Mosier sent this out to me, but in that time it's completely transformed my quoting workflow. You can save multiple measurements to specific project folders, and I've been emailing the PDFs from my phone directly to the customer. You guys know I only work with suppliers who I think are going to benefit my audience, and I couldn't think of a better product to streamline the quoting process. It's so simple to use. If you'd like to try the Mosier 1, head to mosier.co.uk and use my code X8SMELTS to get £20 off your order. Link in the description. 71 square meters.
That's mad.
Sick, innit? It's so accurate, and you can like see it in 3D space as well.
It's so good.
Look at that. So you can see the fall off. So say if you've got like a driveway that's sloping in, and you're not sure when the water's going to flow.
No way. So it's picked up the steps. It's picked up that little bit. Mate, that is sick.
So I asked, do jobs take longer than you plan generally? And we've got 13 votes. 92% said yes, 7% said no. So yeah, what I've found is that you know, you look at it and you think, oh, that'll only take me about an hour. But doing all those extra little details, the clean itself, the cleaning portion is generally the bit that's the quickest. It's the time it takes to set up everything, chat to the customer, you have that initial walk round, and then break everything apart, load your van up, say bye to the customer. You know, put all the pots back, do a proper rinse down, and sort of wipe down the windows and the gutters and stuff like that. It's generally all that bit that takes the longest. And that's not to mention if stuff goes wrong, like if something doesn't go quite to plan. If you've got low water pressure, for example, or if you've got bad drainage, that could literally be the difference between the job taking an hour and 3 hours, literally. When you're first starting out, I would say try and figure out a day rate that you'd be happy with. And I don't mean charge a day rate, I mean try to work out your expenses and work out what you think you need to earn every day to make your business successful, and then try and book in work that reflects that. So if you need to, like for me, last year I was trying to hit about £235 per day. So if I had a pressure washing job that was 180 quid for like a rear patio or something, I needed to book an extra small job in somewhere. It could have been a small pressure washing job, or it could have been a gutter job or whatever, just to make up that difference. And generally, the way I was pricing, because I'm pricing per square meter, the time is a reflection on the cost of the job. So £180 job isn't going to take me all day. It's going to take me less than a morning. It's probably going to take me 2 hours maximum. Whereas a £700 job is probably going to take me all day. And maybe I'll have to come back the next day to resand or something. So I think quite often my pricing structure, because it's price per square meter, reflects how long the job's going to take. So yeah, try and fill your day based on the amount of money you need to earn, and that will give you a pretty decent reference point for time. But it's very much going to come with experience. You're going to look at different surfaces and think, oh, that's not going to take me long because it's just a patio, for example. It's just concrete. It's just a concrete slab patio. I don't need to come back to resand it. Drainage looks good. Water pressure looks good. I'm going to fly through this one. It's mainly drainage and water pressure, really, and whether the customer fancies a chat. But you'll get a good impression of the customer when you're going to do the quote initially, probably. Let's go back up and check out some of these questions. But yeah, overall, I'd say 1 job a day is a good starting point. Try and figure out your day rate. And if you need to do 2 jobs a day to hit your day rate, then do that. Joss says, hey mate, have you got any experience with Synergy Clean Pro? If so, what kind of job / surface do you use it on? Yes, I mix mine with Hypo when I'm cleaning concrete. I think that's a really good combination. I use Synergy generally neat or like 2-to-1 on oil stains. You can use it on PVC, gutters, fascias, soffits, conservatories. It's a very, very good all-round cleaner. I don't think hard water affects anything. Back 50 can't get any frost. I'm pretty sure hard water does affect some chemicals. I heard it from Pure Seal, so it's one of their biocides. I think hard water does make a difference. What do you think the best biocide training course is, and what do you think the best place to buy biocide is for wall render? I'm going to say Pure Seal, just because those are the people that I buy my chemicals from. I was recommending them before I became affiliated, and now I've got an affiliate link as well. If you go on my link tree, I'll put that in the chat, and if anyone wants to use my links before they purchase anything, I'll get a little bit of commish, so I'd appreciate it. There's a training course that Pure Seal have developed, but it's not got any branding. It's just a biocide certification, so it's not a Pure Seal biocide certification. It's a general one. I think this one's about 150 quid, an online training course. This 150 quid. You get a City and Guilds certificate, and these are from this is a training course from some of the best in the business. Pure Seal also do the approved applicator courses as well. It teaches you how to prepare clean, chemically treat, and seal virtually every surface. So I've done module 1 and I think it was fantastic. You also get to come home with the Pure Seal Bible, which is a reference to go back into, and if you forget anything that you learned on the course, it's literally all there to go back through. Every single surface is listed. There's pages dedicated to each surface of, you know, which sealer to use, which cleaners are safe on, you know, which chemicals are safe on each surface. Cheers, Jake. Doing the sundial on the same day tomorrow as the rest. They just don't want any tint on the sundial. All I bought is 30 litres of matte sealer. So are you doing like 2 coats, do you think? How big's the area? And how are you applying it? You want to try and have you got a moisture meter as well? Because you don't want any moisture on the surface with pattern imprinted concrete. And try and do it either early morning or late evening, or late afternoon. If the sun is shining directly on the patio, you might want to consider avoiding it, because you can tend to get blisters. If the ground temperature is too hot, you can get blisters. So it's a concrete ceiling. It can go wrong quite easily. You don't want to apply it too thick, because then if it pulls in between the joints, it can blister if the sun comes out. You know, it's annoying. It's quite a difficult process, but when you get it right, it looks really good. Don't leave any like excess pooling. Try and sort of, either if you're using a brush or a roller, try and spread it out as best you can. I was going for the 4,000 psi 15 litre per minute. The guy honestly told me the 3,000 psi 21 litre per minute would be way better. Yeah, I'd probably say the same. It was a twin nozzle lance, 900mm. I think it was an M22 screw fitting and a 10 meter hose. What are we talking about, Adam? Sorry, mate. Oh, I see. A twin nozzle lance. Lincolnshire. I don't know where Lincolnshire is. I don't even know how to spell it. Okay. Are you near Rutland Pumps? You are 45 minutes away from Rutland Pumps. I'd recommend going there, personally. Hooper, welcome mate, how you doing? I've got a Q spigot quick release system for the gun, so I can quickly release from the lance and the surface cleaner. That's a very good investment. That's going to save you loads of time. Darren Summers and John Summers in the chat at the same time. Both members of the Discord as well. Or members of the channel at least. John, what sort of hours do you work? Are you sort of all round the clock? Being a fireman. Do you do days and nights? Steve says, that reminds me. I need to cancel my service with PWS. I had almost no pressure and it was nearly 3 weeks until they had a spot. So good to hear you're catching up now. Cancel your service. Do you not need it serviced anymore? Have you done it yourself? How does your advert work for quoting walls? Where's the link for it? My advert? Yeah, you could quote a wall with the... You mean the Mosier? The Mosier 1. They do have a video of you sort of plonking it on the wall and moving it around, but yeah, there's all sorts of stuff you can do with that thing. I'm not sure what you mean by how does your advert work for quoting walls. I've put my link in the chat, by the way, if you need that. Got my first resin job. Should I do sodium hypochlorite first, then surface cleaner and rinse? What's the best bar? Any advice would be appreciated. Congratulations on winning your first resin job. I did one recently for the first time as well.
Morning.
Oh my god.
Morning, everyone.
No. Morning. So I did, I think I'll probably put a bit of synergy in this as well, actually. I did a pre-treatment of synergy and hypo. Sprayed it on the whole lot. I did a low pressure wash, probably about 150 bar, with 40-degree jets on the surface cleaner. And I did it in a circular pattern. So this was just a little test before I put the chemical down, just to see whether it was clearing the moss or not. I think I ended up turning the pressure up maybe to about 175 bar, I can't remember. But yeah, this is a mix of sodium hypochlorite and synergy. So it's degreasing and it's killing anything organic on there as well. And then circular motion on the whole driveway. And then I rinsed with a turbo nozzle, because I found it was more effective on resin than the X-Jet, or just like a normal rinse lance, like a fan jet. It's really weird with resin. When you're rinsing, the water is just disappearing. It's going straight into the surface and it just disappears. On tarmac or any other surface, the water's obviously pooling on the surface and it's flowing down the street. Barely anything went down the street. It all just sunk down underneath the drive, which is why it's so difficult to rinse, because all that dirt, when you're rinsing, you're either pulling up fresh dirt from underneath, or I don't know what I was going to say. But yeah, I didn't find that it took actually that long to rinse. Some people complain that it takes ages to do a proper rinse down on resin, but I found using the turbo nozzle that was more effective. I'd never normally rinse with a turbo nozzle. That was when my camera fell over. And it came up really well with the turbo. By the way, rinsing down is the most important part of any job. And I didn't know this when I first started. I was cleaning block paving with a turbo nozzle, and I never rinsed behind me, and it still looked sort of dirty, and I didn't understand why. I thought, I've just cleaned that whole drive and it doesn't look that impressive. And it's because I never went back over it and rinsed everything. It seems like such an amateur thing now, but if you don't get told, you don't really know. It was my first ever drive. And with stuff like this as well, you might clean it and then not think about rinsing it. But that's the most important bit, because if there's any sort of dirty water left on the driveway, it dries in like dirty patches and stuff. It's going to be the difference between it looking pristine and looking a bit crap. Good luck with your resin job. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Martin, welcome. Every job takes longer than you think. There you go. From the man himself. Resin needs a lot of rinsing. I do hypo after surface cleaner. Some resin won't take kindly to the turbo, so just use a fan jet to rinse. There you go. Did 4 hours garden work today on 2 jobs, 140 quid total. I still reckon I can get more per hour pressure washing, but I can't find any work still. I'd love a 50-50 gardening / pressure washing balance. Yeah, I mean, 4 hours. Those notifications are a bit loud, aren't they? 4 hours, 140 quid. Are you using like materials? Are you using fuel, chemicals? I suppose. I mean, is there any wear and tear on your equipment and stuff? I mean, 4 hours work, 140 quid. It's not bad, is it really? In the grand scheme of things, but it's like you're not necessarily making £35 an hour, because if you're only doing 4 hours of work in the entire day, you know, the normal day is 8 hours generally. So some people might look at it and say I'm earning £35 an hour, but it depends how long your day is. Depends if you can fill your day or not. And if you're struggling to fill your day, then you might need to look at trying to offer either more services or just increase your advertising, try and get yourself in front of more people. The benefit of doing gardening is that presumably you can try and upsell most of your customers' pressure washing work. You go around to mow their grass or cut their hedge, and you can just drop in and say, by the way, I do pressure washing as well if you ever need any of that doing. Don't hard sell it, just say, if you ever need any pressure washing doing, by the way, I can do that for you as well. If you ever need your gutters clearing, just let me know. And at that point, they might say, oh yeah, actually, yeah, can you give me a price for this, this and this? If you don't tell people that you offer all these other services, like most people don't know I clear gutters. Or if I'm clearing their gutters, they don't know that I do pressure washing. So I always drop it in and let them know. Just drop it into conversation and just say, by the way, I can wash your gutters, I can clean your conservatory, I can do your solar panels. You don't have to make a decision now, just let me know in the future if you ever need anything. First commercial job will pay for it, exactly, yeah. Is it worth doing it at the stage of buying the equipment? Buy not 100%. I think there is too many about now. What's your opinion? 21 Nick, what are we talking about? Is it worth doing at the stage of buying the equipment? Buy not 100%. I think there is too many about. What's your opinion? Sorry, mate, you're gonna have to rephrase that. I don't really know what you mean. Sorry. When you flick the book, just notice the video is flipped. Never even noticed smelt was backwards on your shirt. Is it? Oh yeah. Why have I done that? I'm not sure why I've done that, but yeah, the video is flipped, you're right. Yeah. Good observation, Darren. Is it appropriate to use hypo on a roof to get instant results? Have seen popular YouTubers do it and say it's fine to do, and he does get instant results. What's everyone's thoughts? Yes. Yeah, if you've got streaks or lines or black spots is a difficult one because it depends how bad the black spots are. Sometimes you're better off just biociding and leaving it 6 months, and hopefully those black spots start to fade. But yeah, soft washing roofs, people have been doing it with hypo for years. Like you say, it gives you that instant result, but then you've got to be very careful. If you are going to do a biocide treatment as well, you need to make sure you're not mixing the two. And also just be very careful about hypo around delicate surfaces like lead. If you've got any lead flashing, it's going to turn it brown. It's going to like oxidize it or rust it. You can rectify that with like acid, but it's not worth the effort. 12-hour shifts, 2 days, 2 nights, 4 days off. Okay. That's a decently long shift though, isn't it? Does that mess your body clock up? I bet you're all over the place, ain't you, doing that? AC did everything when I took it in there the same day. Great service. Craig has booked his in for the full shebang as well. Nice. Very cool. I forgot you went to AC, yeah. The water just disappears through that surface. Yes, it does. Did that make it hard to figure what was done? Yeah. I was using the dirt. So you can see when the surface cleaner goes over the area, it leaves these dirt lines. And I had to keep referencing those. Although when everything's wet, it's harder to see. Like if you look there now, it's quite hard to see where I've been along here, especially when it's really sunny. That's part of the reason why I went over the whole thing with the turbo nozzle as well, just in case I did miss anything. I don't think I did, because I sort of overlapped myself. Feels like it's taking forever, but like to clean a drive that big, it's a pretty massive drive, to be fair, in the grand scheme of things. If that was a block paved drive, it's pretty big. And that was over in Kidderminster, so it only took maybe an hour and a half start to finish. So to do a drive that big, I think that was quite good going. Did that make it hard? Oh yeah, I've read that. There's a cleaner on YouTube, I'm not going to call out names, spraying biocides and hypo in videos whilst ripping on his vape. No mask, no goggles, gloves. It's crazy. Yeah, some people don't value their life, I don't think. And also you see some people spraying biocide up on a roof with an X-Jet, or spraying hypo on an X-Jet all the way up to the top of the roof from like a tower or a ladder or something, and that's just wild. The amount of drift that you get with an X-Jet, particularly up on a roof, and you've got no control of where it's going. If it's going over the roof as well, it's just going everywhere, and that it's just, yeah, some people are stupid, aren't they? Might be a silly question, but what's the best way to take payments as a new small business? Bank transfer, is that the safest bet? Yeah, although now, if you've got a particularly old customer, if you sign in on your banking app, you can scan checks. So if you've got someone that wants to pay by check, you can scan it. The funds will be in your bank pretty much instantly, like pending, and then it takes a couple of days for the check to clear. But yeah, generally most customers, I'll just text them my bank details after I've done the job, and I'll just say, if you can pay within 7 days, that'd be great. Generally, I won't even say that, to be fair. I'll just text them and say, here's my bank details. I'm glad you're pleased with the work. Please leave a review. And I've never had a problem with anyone not paying. Some people will try and say, can you do it any cheaper for cash? And it's like, well, I'm declaring everything because I want to do everything legit. And so for me to take cash uptown to the bank, put it into my personal account, and transfer it to the business account is so much more effort than it's worth. So no, I can't do it any cheaper. And bank transfer is easier for me. You could also get one of those little card readers, or I think you can get a card reader on your phone where people can tap their card on your phone. I don't know. I've not looked into those, but because they take like a percentage of all of your earnings, it's only like something stupid like 1% or something. But for that reason, I don't use them. But I've never had an issue with anyone not being able to do it. If they can't do a bank transfer, they'll probably just pay cash. You're not making £35 an hour because of taxes anyway. Yeah, minus your expenses and your taxes. Yeah, you've really got to consider, you've got to break things down, and you've got to actually take into account your take home rather than your top line, like your, what is it, your net? I don't know much about finance, but your total earnings, you've got to be very realistic in minusing things like wear and tear on your vehicle, mileage travelled, fuel for your machine, chemicals that you've used. And in the grand scheme of things, the pressure washing as a business, expenses are very, very low compared to the kind of money that you can earn. The only time it starts to creep up and catch up to some other industries is when you start reinvesting that back into your business and purchasing new machines, a new van, replacement equipment, repairs, maintenance. That's when that line starts to creep up and actually your expenses start to get pretty high. But it depends how much you want to reinvest into your business. If you're happy buying cheap equipment and running it until it's absolutely bust, then you might be able to keep your expenses quite low. But if you want to invest in something that's going to last you, then yeah. But I didn't want to, I can't remember who commented. Was it Hooper? Yeah, I'm not trying to belittle £140 a day because I understand the struggle. Totally understand it. Just some people look at that as I've earned £140 profit today, which is very, very respectable. But then when you minus everything that's gone into earning that, you realise it's actually much, much lower. And it's difficult to make a living when you're self-employed, but it's all about the portfolio. It really is. It's about the reviews and the portfolio and building relationships, not just doing a one-off job for a customer that you think you're never going to see again. It's about investing time and energy into making this customer a returning repeat customer, either by upselling them or by, you know, doing such a bloody good job that they come back to you next year when there's no reason for them to go to anyone else. Oh, you can get the phone card readers. Okay. Bank transfer is the safest and cheapest bet, but nothing beats cash. Is it the same one who sprays acid the same way too? You can actually see the clouds of acid mist drifting away. I think Rutland pumps are just an hour away. I visited Philips pressure washers and they're 10 minutes down the road from me. I think they get most of their stuff from dual pumps. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than a good local pressure washer supplier. Like I've got my guys in Evesham, 25 minutes away. And if anything fails or if anything goes wrong on my machine, I can get there so quickly the same day and get an instant repair done, and nothing beats that. So if you can build a good relationship with them and you're happy that they're, you know, supplying high quality equipment, then yeah, go with them. Out of the £140, I use a couple of quid in fuel, so mostly profit. I try everyone for pressure washing, but everyone says they've got a pressure washer already. The middle aisle in Lidl, yeah. Yeah, it's weird because I have no trouble like upselling the people that come into the chat and say that they're struggling to get work. I feel like I'm the last person that should be giving advice because I don't know what's different, but I've never had trouble upselling people. And I've never had like a lack of work coming in. I don't know what I'm doing differently than some of these other people. I don't know what it is because the advice that I'm giving people, presumably they're doing it, and if it's still not working, the last thing I want to tell people to do is just spend loads of money on marketing because it doesn't work for everyone. I think it could just be the area that you're in. If people in your area are not spending money on their gardens and on their properties and stuff, then you're stuffed, ain't you, really? Maybe I'm like a little bit more charismatic than some people. I mean, the fact that I'm sitting in front of a camera every Monday night, that probably says something, doesn't it? But some people aren't as confident, I suppose, going to a customer's property and trying to sell their service. So there is that as well. You've got to come in it with a certain amount of confidence, and I think the confidence comes from experience. If you're experienced and you know what you're selling and you can answer every one of their questions with confidence, and not trying to spin them bullshit, but actually educating the customer and showing them that you know exactly what you're talking about. And by the way, here's my portfolio, here's the sort of work that I'm achieving. I showed my customer the other day. I went to a job in the morning and it come up amazing, and then I went to this one in the afternoon and she said, I don't know whether it's going to look good or not when it's done, but because it's very old. And I said, well, this is one I did this morning. They're exactly the same slabs and they're around about the same age, and it's a similar area with all this overhanging foliage, and these are the results that I got. And they were like, oh my god, yeah, stunning, looks amazing. And so you just got to reassure the customer that you're going to get the result, I suppose. It's very difficult when you're first starting out. I don't know how long you've been going, Hooper. I know looks like you're more geared towards the gardening side of things, but just keep grinding, keep taking photos, take photos of everything, and actually put them somewhere rather than just keeping them on your phone. Either put them on your Google page or put them on your Facebook or your Instagram, just so you can send people there. If you're sending someone a quote and it's for tarmac ceiling, for example, I did 3 tarmac ceiling quotes today. I didn't even go to quote the tarmac ceiling. I went to quote a patio, a tarmac drive. I went to quote a patio and 2 tarmac drives. I ended up quoting a patio, a roof with moss on it, 3 tarmac drives, and I said, oh, by the way, I also offer tarmac ceiling, because occasionally when you pressure wash tarmac, it can look a little bit more faded than it did when before, because we're applying pressure. We're potentially taking a small layer of that bitumen off the top, and if it's quite an old driveway, it's probably going to look quite faded when it's clean. But applying a tarmac sealer, it's going to look like a brand new drive when it's done. And then if you back that up by, say, oh yeah, depending on the price, I might go for something like that. And then when you send them the quote, and you can back it up with a picture like that, it literally looks like a brand new drive. This is one of my old before and after pictures. And how can they not trust that you're going to do a good job at that point? If you've got a portfolio and you've got examples of your previous work, same thing with repointing. You can put a price in of 1,1700 quid to repoint a patio, or 300-400 quid to clean it. You need them before and after pictures to say, look at the difference when it's repointed. It's worth the extra money. If you've not got them pictures to back up your service, then they're sort of unsure whether it's going to be worth that extra bit of investment. Like, that's one of my other ones that I like to send to people, and that one there. Sorry, mate, I'm dyslexic. In your opinion, is it worth starting a pressure washing company just as a part-time hobby to start with? It just seems like there's loads of pressure washing companies. Okay. If it's something that you think you could enjoy, if it's something you've never done before, I would thoroughly recommend buying a cheap petrol machine, giving it a go on your own property or on your family or your neighbour's property, seeing if you enjoy the work, take pictures of everything you do and start building up a bit of a portfolio. Do cheap work for friends and family at first if you want to. And then at that point, you might have made a bit of extra cash, and you see it as a potential income. You enjoy the work, start reinvesting that money back into your business and get a bigger and better machine so you can do jobs quicker. And then as your experience grows, so can your prices. You can charge more because you've got more money in your equipment. You're going to do jobs better. You're going to start using chemicals, all that sort of stuff. Prove to yourself that you can earn money doing that as a business. Because if you find that you start advertising for it, you've invested all this money into your equipment, you start paying for advertising, but you've got no work coming in because there's too many people pressure washing in your area that have got 150 reviews, then it might be something that's not viable for you. But just take it steady, do it gradually. I would. That's how I did it. Some people will say that's a load of rubbish, and if you're going to do anything, I think Ryan from Curbside said, if you're going to do it, you need to be fully invested, go all in. And if you're 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out, you're not going to put 110% into it. And I understand what you're saying. I think, in my opinion, because I had a full-time job and I've got a family to support and I've got a mortgage to pay every month and bills, I couldn't afford for anything to fail. And so what I was doing was trying to find another option alongside my regular 9 to 5. And so I was working evenings or weekends doing pressure washing to see if it was a viable business opportunity. And I did it for 12 months consistently. I said, I'm going to buy this pressure washer and I'm going to focus on this one idea, this one business idea. I'm going to put everything I can into making this one thing successful, because my issue for many, many years was thinking of business ideas, putting 50% effort in, giving it a break for a week, burning out, and then putting another bit of effort in 3 weeks' time, and thinking, oh, this isn't working, and then moving on to the next big brain idea that I had the next week. And that's not how businesses are made. You need momentum, consistency. The most important thing is being consistent. And I knew that was my issue, that I wasn't being consistent. I wasn't giving it my all. I wasn't giving it my full attention. So all these little brainwaves and ideas I've ever had were just I sort of given up before I'd even started. But with this one, I thought, no, I'm gonna bloody go for this one, and it paid off. The one thing I put time and actual time and work and effort into, the one thing in my entire life, and look at where it's got me now. I'm not trying to be big-headed or anything, but I could have never imagined that it'd be going this well at this point. You know what I mean? I'm glad I've never seen any of those channels you guys are talking about. Dudes in the US spraying sodium hypochlorite or stronger. It looks like Lucozade. Yeah, they just they're downstreaming it, aren't they, and just spraying it all up the side of houses and stuff. It's crazy. Have you ever tried Pave Tough from Travis Perkins? No. But if you've got an account with Travis Perkins, I looked at that Pave Tough the other day. It was $37.99 plus VAT, I think. I can't remember what it was. 30 something pound plus VAT. And then when I asked in store, as I was paying for some kiln dried sand on my account, he said, oh, it's 22 quid plus VAT. So it was like over £10 saving, just because I had an account. So just consider that as well. You might get it even cheaper. I think is that the stuff you have to pour the resin in and sort of mix it on site? Or is it just like a generic jointing compound? By the way, talking about jointing compound, I went back to a job that I did recently. And when I was applying the jointing compound, I noticed some of the slabs were ever so slightly wobbly, but I didn't think much of it. Customer never mentioned it. It was just a very slight wobble as I walked over one or two slabs maybe. Applied the jointing compound. And then I came back last week to I ran out of time basically to do the Biocide treatment on the roof, and the weather was bad. I'd underestimated how long the roof clean was going to take. But this gave me an opportunity to revisit after maybe a month and a half, 2 months maybe. Let's have a look actually how long ago it was. It was when Rich was working with me, so this one. Easy joint. It was March the 31st. Oh my god. So it was like 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago. So this was the patio. I'd applied this jointing compound. Looked stunning on the day. I think it was this slab and this slab were ever so slightly loose. And I went back to it the other day to put some Biocide on the roof. And all the jointing compound in these areas had cracked and totally come away. It looked terrible. The customer didn't mention it at all. I just said, like, your jointing compound's all cracked on those slabs over there. Is it because they're loose? And he said, oh yeah, they've always been loose. I keep refilling it every so often because I left him with some material, and he's filled it back up himself. And I said, that's like really disappointing. Do you want me to send someone over to sort of rebed the slabs in, and then we'll put some more jointing compound in? And he said, no, don't worry about it, it's fine, it's only a little area, but it looked really bad. So if anyone's going to be applying jointing compound, if there's any loose slabs, you want to get them sorted first before you put it in. Hello, you're back. Good run.
Hard run.
How many K?
2.5.
2.5K. Oh, just a baby one.
Maybe. I haven't done it for ages and need to get the motivation to go now.
Proud of you for getting out there, though. Good job. How you feeling?
Good.
Good. Oh, that light's bright.
We're going to have any time for Fallout tonight?
Oh, I thought you meant something else. Are we going to have any more time for tonight? Fallout.
I did Fallout.
We've been watching Fallout on Amazon Prime. I used to play all the video games, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4. And now seeing it on TV is very surreal. It's a very cool series.
You're loving it, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll watch it.
How much longer are you going to be?
I don't know. See how... I'll keep going until people stop asking me questions, basically. Yep. That's how it works, so...
No,
that's how it works.
You need to say when the last question's going to be.
I tell people it's £10 extra in cash. They ask why, I tell them what you just said. Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? I think when I get around to starting up, I'm going to have business cards with bank transfer details as well as a logo on socials. And a note asking them to leave a review on Google. That's a good idea. Yeah. If you go onto your Google page, go here, and then go on ask for a review, it gives you this link. So you can copy this link and then just send that to the customer. And then when they click on it, it'll come up with this. So that's quite useful. How do you do accounting as new to self-employed work? So I just keep all my expenses and income on one spreadsheet. I've got a column for the date, supplier of whatever I've bought. So whether it's fuel or chemicals or materials, I've got a supplier column. I've got the description of what the item is that I've bought. And then I've also got customers' details. So if I've been paid, it's in one column. If I've spent something, it's in another column. And I'm just tracking it in date order. and then I've just got a running total on the side. So I do my income minus expenses, and then the total of that, I'm working out 20%, and that's how much tax I need to pay. Total income minus expenses equals minus 20%. I'd show you my spreadsheet, but it's got all my income on there. I don't really want to share that with everyone. There's a template somewhere. Let's make a template now, just so you can see. Can I zoom in? And then I've got expense, income, uh, 20%. So 10th of the 6th, 24, I bought from Rutland Pumps a nozzle, and it cost 65 quid. You can change this column to be numbers, whatever. And then also today I earned from Barbara at number 14. I earned 260 quid. This is also money. And so I do this column equals this minus this. That's wrong. And then this column, I'm working this out wrong, aren't I? I need to do the total first. Forget that. Okay. So then tax to pay, for example, is equals this times 20%. So it's something like that. So that would be like, oh, that's an ugly colour. That would be my income. That would be my expenses. Those are very ugly colours. And then this would be tax to pay. So that's obviously red as well. And then you can have another total. What do you call it? Is it net profit? I can't remember. You could have profit, which would be equals my running total minus my tax. And then you can make it so it's like a running total going all the way down, and so it automatically sort of updates every time you fill in these sections here. You can sort of keep track of it on the side. I'm trying to do it quickly. It's difficult to work out. I'm not very good at Excel, but that's how I do it basically. That whole time you haven't been able to see the whole spreadsheet. Sorry, that's annoying. There you go. The reason you don't like videos or photos of yourself is because you are not seeing the mirrored version of yourself. So flipping that video creates a mirrored version. You flip it back and okay, I'll take your word for it. 136 meters squared block paving and resanding took all day. 926 quid. Your thoughts? 136 square meters. You've charged 900 quid. How have you got away with that? What are you charging per square meter? 136. 926 quid. You're charging £6.80 per square meter. That's very high. You robbing bastard. Some idiot local to me is advertising any drive up to 100 square meters for 179 quid. He's going to be a busy fool. Yeah, I mean, if you need the work, do it. But that customer is going to expect the same thing next year when you're busier. And you're probably not going to be able to afford to do it. I think a lot of people try and give a quote on the doorstep and then book it in the next day. There's nothing wrong with this, but being cheap and available might also put people off. Yeah, in my experience, being booked up now for over a month, surprisingly, people have been happy to wait. I say, like, I can't get you until end of next month. And they're like, oh, I was hoping for sooner, but I'm happy to wait. Was really stubborn, lots of black spots, so I used hypo as well. Took me 11 hours, all done in one day. What sort of machine are you using, Spencer? Yeah, and obviously depending on what part of the country you're from, the living rate, the cost of living is different, isn't it? High prompt peak, you're right, mate. All Out is so good. It is, isn't it? We've only done 2 episodes so far, I think. I went to see a potential new gardening customer yesterday. Lovely property. I said I do pressure washing as well, but yours looks clean. He said, yeah, just had it done. 120 square meters of block paving. He paid £1,000. Oh, that's a lot of money, isn't it? Whereabouts in the country are you, Hooper? What size scaffold tower would you recommend for doing roof cleaning? 2-story houses I will be doing. I can't remember what we said mine was when I borrowed it. I borrowed it from a friend. Actually, this tower, I think was 6.8, but I think I could have done another meter on top, but I didn't need that. I didn't need it. I think this was 6.8. So 5.8. Yeah. And then we did a different one at the start of the year. And honestly, I can't remember how big it was. So this is going to be absolutely useless, but I'm going to show you anyway. This is Synergy and Hypo. Not on the tarmac, but I was with my brother, so we're almost there. I love going through my old pictures. This is why you've just got to put them up somewhere. you've got to have a portfolio somewhere where you can reference, because you can just grab a picture. You can say, oh, I did this on this date. Here's the photo. So you can see what sort of results you can expect. It's so useful having this. It's great for the live streams as well, because I can actually like refer back to stuff if people have got questions. Here's a tower, and I can't remember how big it was. This one looks smaller than the other one, doesn't it? Because the gutter's at like waist height, whereas the other one I was above the gutter. If you were going to start up with a budget of £5,000, what would you start with? I assume small van, washer, hose, chemical turbo nozzle, and a surface cleaner. So you've got to buy the van with that £5,000 as well. Yeah, I'd probably avoid one of the big surface cleaners. You're only going to use a surface cleaner on a patio. You're not going to use it on block paving. So I'd probably avoid one of the. If you've got to buy a small van. You're not going to get a big van for more than, the £3,000 of that budget is probably going to go towards the van. So I'd personally go for something like this whirlaway that you can just clip onto the end of your lance. The difference between this and a big 18-inch walk-along surface cleaner isn't going to be huge. You're going to be fine with something like this, and this, more importantly, will fit in your van without taking up too much room. I still want one of these for the smaller jobs, I think. But yeah, you've got it, mate. Turbo nozzle, definitely the best machine you can afford. If you're confident that you want to go into this industry and you want to drop £5,000 on a starter kit and a van, just buy the best you can buy, basically. If you're not sure, then start small and slowly work your way up. But if you're confident, go in balls deep. 4 meter my tower, that's the height of a standing platform, so it's perfect. Okay, Steve says 4 meter my tower. How many hours a week do you spend doing your social media, such as your YouTube and Facebook videos? Is that where most of your work comes from? So at the end of every day, I spend 5 minutes making an Instagram post. I haven't been doing reels lately. The 60-second reels take some time, to be fair. YouTube, I can be spending a couple of evenings, maybe 2 evenings a week, editing a video, doing the voiceover and stuff. That's when I put some effort in. Haven't been able to spend that sort of time recently on YouTube. You spend as long as you want to spend on it, to be honest. It can consume every evening if you allow it to, but you just got to be realistic about what you think you're going to get out of it. I don't use YouTube or whatever for marketing. It's literally just to put videos out. Reels and shorts and TikToks and stuff, that's potentially quite a good marketing strategy. If you can make it less of an advert and more of like just something that people will find interesting. If you're trying to make an advert for Facebook or Instagram, people don't want to watch adverts. So gear it more towards, this is either funny or it's interesting, or I'm going to show you something you've never seen before, or this is an amazing transformation, watch this. Not, if you're looking for pressure washing and you're in the so-and-so area, then consider, we're the company for you. We can do this, this, and this. No one's going to watch that video. They're going to scroll straight past it. Oh yeah, you could do with a buffer tank as well. Yeah, good thinking, Steve. Depending on what machine you go for, if it's anything over 12 or 13 litres per minute, you're going to want a buffer tank. Yeah. We need to arrange that date to chat and add spreadsheet format into the list. Oi! Gross profit, pre-tax expenses, net, after all that. Yeah, thank you. I get confused with all the different terms. There's a lot when it comes to like net, gross, profit, loss. You know, easily confused I am. Matt, I keep saying, and I feel bad when I'm talking to you saying we need to get something in the calendar. Let's just do it now. Let's do it now while you're here, because I'm going to keep delaying it and we're never going to end up chatting. So let's just do it. For anyone who's interested, Matt has got some amazing ideas for not only smelt.club, which is the website, the quoting calculator and stuff. Not only he's got some amazing ideas for that, but also he's looking at streamlining the Discord, especially towards new people coming in, potentially asking the same questions. He's looking at doing some guides and stuff for people, frequently asked questions, all that sort of stuff. Can you do Wednesday night, Matt? We'll have a little one-to-one and go through some ideas. Maybe Wednesday night around about 7:30, if that's not too late for you. Spend an hour or two. Maybe an hour. Right, you're in the calendar. Thank you, mate. No worries, John. I hope it helped, mate. I know it might have been a bit confusing because I'm not very good at it all, but I just sort of learned all this on the fly. As and when I needed it, I started making spreadsheets and whatever. I've got to make a new spreadsheet now for Jakey's hours, because now I need to keep track of not only my own hours, but my new employees' hours, so I can pay him properly. I took pictures of his birth certificate and driving license today so that I can document them. Permission to work in the UK. I've got to get him set up on the government website as one of my employees, so it can all be legal and legit. Got to figure out holiday allowance, sick pay. There's a lot. There's so much. But it must mean that I'm going in the right direction, doesn't it? Can I recommend some free software that you might like? Sure, go ahead. Towers are measured in the height of the standing platform, not the height of the whole tower. Oh, there you go. Do you know what the height of the standing platform? So your feet. Your feet when you're on the top. South Wales. Oh, okay. Some quote platform height and some quote working height, which is platform height plus 2 meters. Can you declare how much one can expect to earn first and then second year? It's going to be different for everyone, mate. It depends on how much effort you put in. Depends on your area. Depends on how much time and effort you're putting in. Depends on how good you are with your quoting and your upselling. It's going to be totally different for everyone, unfortunately. I'd love to be able to give you just like an easy answer, but if you want to start a business to work less and have more free time, you then also can't expect to be earning more, and vice versa. If you're grafting and putting in like 6 days a week and long days, and you're devoting a whole day to go out and do quoting, and you're paying money to advertise and marketing, all that sort of stuff, your life balance is going to be different. Your bank account might be up here, but your work and life balance might be different. So it depends what you want from your business as well. Sorry, I can't just give you like a good answer to that. Depend on which services you offer, the area you work in, how much advertising you do. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Glad to see I've been taking away useful information from the videos I've been watching recently. Yeah. Yeah, sounds like you got it all. Small van, washer, hose, chemicals, turbo nozzle. Yeah, I mean, you don't... there's a video, the very first video I posted on my channel tells you the bare bones basics that you're going to need if you just want to start a pressure washing service tomorrow. So, Jay likes free things. I saw that message. A lot of people go bust in the first year because they don't get enough work. Yeah, and it's also, you know, they've invested $5,000 into their equipment before they've proved to themselves that they can actually earn money. They've got no customers, they've got no experience, but they've got a lot of money in their equipment, and it's sat in the shed doing nothing. And they don't know what to do, and so they think, well, I want to get my money back, and so I need to sell it on Facebook Marketplace and try and get some of that money back and invest it somewhere else. It's difficult. You can't leave your job and expect the phone to ring the next day with 10 or 15 customers that you never had before. Like, you need to put yourself in front of people and let everyone know that this is the thing that you're going to start doing now. This is your new business. It's a slow, gradual thing. It doesn't happen overnight. Year 1 will be fairly slow. Year 2 is probably when you're going to start earning the big bucks. I don't know. Depends how much effort you want to put in. Thanks, Matt. How do miss this? Catch it tomorrow. No worries, MJ. Connect Team. I use it for scheduling. Okay. $14-day free trial. I thought it was free. They try and get you to yeah. I mean, because me and Jake are going to be working together and stuff, I don't see that this is going to do anything that my Outlook calendar isn't going to do. Do you know what I mean? I suppose if you've got a lot of people on the books, yeah, scheduling maybe, yeah. But I mean, my calendar does that, to be honest. But if it works for you, fantastic. Seems quite competitive. I'm thinking about doing it 1 day a week to supplement income. Yeah. Again, look at that first video on my channel and you'll see what I did to start my business. You can just do it evenings or weekends just to start generating content, start taking pictures of stuff and make a little business page, make a website if you think you need it. It's probably a bit early for a website just yet, but yeah, just start making conscious decisions. If I can give you any advice at the early stages of a business, or if you're thinking about starting a business, download Audible and listen to The Compound Effect, because this is what did it for me. Literally, I know I go on about it. I've mentioned this before. But this book changed my life. Don't get me wrong, I didn't read a book. I've never read a book. I listened to the audiobook. It's not just business advice, it's general like life. Like if you want to steer your life in a certain direction, if you want things to actually start happening, you've got to make them happen. I'd recommend The Compound Effect first, and then by the same author, The Entrepreneur... I spelled that wrong. The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster. Listen to that one afterwards. Same author. You can download Audible, 30-day free trial. These books are both free on the 30-day free trial, and then you can just uninstall it when you're finished. Smelty's tight top tip. Can you adopt us like you did Jakey? Where do we sign up? I said that today because he brought his birth certificate to work. And he said, I said, don't forget to take that home. And he said, I thought you were going to keep it. And then I made a joke about adopting him. Jake likes 3 things. Would love a nice machine and gear all set up for me. Well, Gel. Well, I mean, it doesn't belong to him. It still belongs to me. I use it for scheduling jobs. Pension as well for staff. Yes. Yeah, I'll be paying him a pension, yeah. Or contributing towards his pension. I haven't even been contributing towards my own pension. We looked at it last night, actually. Because I managed to download Scottish Widows. And access my account. So I'm going to start paying into that. All this stuff you don't think about. This is what I'm talking about. Your profit isn't necessarily your profit, because all the stuff that you'd normally, if you're working for someone else, you just get a certain amount of holiday per year, you get sick pay, your pension contributions all sorted. Whereas when you work for yourself, you've got to price all that sort of additional stuff into your jobs. Because if you're not thinking about all that sort of stuff, it's gonna bite you in the ass. You might be cheaper and you might be landing more work, but actually you're not earning enough to sustain your life. Is new employee with the aim of speeding up jobs with the 2 of you, or putting him in a second van doing separate jobs? Missed the first hour or so of the stream if you mentioned it. No, it's a good question. For me, it's so that we can get through jobs quicker and more efficiently, because when I wasn't even going to bother until my brother came and started working with me over Christmas, over the winter, and it was crazy because we were doing mainly gutter clearing jobs. I couldn't believe how quickly we were in and out of people's properties. We'd do a gutter job, and sometimes we could literally, from the time we pull up, I literally looked at the time. I keep saying literally tonight, I hate that word. We'd pull up at the property. I'd say, right, Zach, it's 2:15, and one of us would be slinging the ladders up and getting the vacuum out. The other one would be talking to the customer, and we'd be out by 2:45. We'd be back in the van by 2:45, driving to the next one. Half an hour, we've just earned 120 quid, and we're flying to the next one. And we could do 5 gutter jobs a day. If it was just me on my own, I'd probably be doing 2, 3 maybe gutter jobs a day. Just because it's very physical. It's a lot of, ladders, poles, extension leads, vacuum, setup and breakdown. It's quite a lot for one person. But when there's 2 of you, you're sharing the load, you're multitasking. And then when I started working with Rich, when Rich came over from Warsaw and we had his machine as well as my machine, it's not just having another person there, but having another piece of equipment and both of us going at it. That sounded weird. We could literally clean a surface. Literally, I keep saying literally. We can clean the surface in half the time. And again, while one of us is packing up or breaking down, the other one's talking to the customer, going around taking the before and after pictures. It's so much more efficient. The only time where you'll struggle is if the water pressure, if the flow from the customer's tap is too low. At that point, that's the thing that's going to slow you down. But you're tighter than a 0 degree nozzle. That's so stupid. Shut up. Oh my god. That's tickled me, that has. just on the, and by the way, John, I never thought it could be that efficient. I thought, oh, having an extra person is never going to be, it's never going to be worth the cost. The amount of money that I've got to pay him to be there is not worth the cost. But if you can get into a rhythm, and if you've got an extra bit of equipment that they can be using while you're doing something else, maybe one of us is clearing the gutters while the other one's doing the patio. Even that is just such a time saver. And you're going to be so much less worn out at the end of the day. If you're sharing the physical labour between two people instead of just one, it's going to be better for you as well. So long story short, initially we're going to be doing the same workload, but there's going to be two of us. So we're going to be potentially finishing earlier, getting around more quotes in person, staying on top of the admin and the messages that come in. Because at the moment, I'm pretty much working flat out all day till about 4 o'clock. I'm coming home, sitting in front of the laptop for maybe 2 hours. So I'm leaving the house at like 8, getting home at 4, spending 2 hours on the laptop. So I'm doing like 8 till 6 most days at the moment. It's just the admin that's taking the time at the end of the day, like sending off my bank details, uploading the before and after pictures, and then responding to 10 inquiries that have come in that day. Yeah, it's a lot at the moment. It's getting very difficult to do it on my own. And now that I've got that Mosia, I can send Jakey out to go and do the measuring up for me, and he can go and he's lovely, and he's got a good rapport with customers. Like, he's been in customer services, he's worked at Aldi as a manager at Aldi for a while, so he knows how to talk to people. So I'm quite happy sending him out to go and measure up, chat with the customer. Once he's got some experience on different surface types and the sort of common questions people are going to ask, he'll be able to go and do that while I'm doing something else. Just on the social media again, can I ask, how did you manage to get so many followers on your Facebook page? Did you simply post there regular and it grew, or did you use paid ads? So my Facebook, my entire following from my Facebook have come from a few reels that did really well. I mean, most of my friends and family follow me. As soon as I started sharing some like good like work like that, that's pretty impressive. You can't see what I'm doing. These pictures here are quite impressive, and so occasionally I'd share them from my business page onto my personal page, and then maybe my sister would share it, my mum would share it, and so then all their friends got to see it. So I generated quite a big following from that. But also some of my reels, some of my like 60-second reels did incredibly well. Again, if you post like mildly interesting content, something that's kind of funny or like a really satisfying time lapse, some of these videos are getting over 1 million views, and people go onto your profile and they follow you. That one's got 5 million. That one's almost 1 million, 1.7 million. And so when one of your videos pops like this, you'll just suddenly get 6,000-7,000 followers, because they want to see more content from you, basically. And it doesn't necessarily lead to work. Like, it's definitely going to help the health of my page overall, but it's only going to lead to more work in my area. Because most of these followers are people all around the world. They're not necessarily in my town. And a lot of followers are other pressure washing businesses as well. Great advice. I've subscribed. I quit drinking 4 years ago. I'm way anxious now. Do of you can give it a go. Not drinking because you will develop business faster. Holly, yeah, I think I've quit for. Doesn't sound too confident, does it? I think I've quit drinking. Yeah. Haven't had a drink for over a week now, and I think I'm feeling okay. I do get the craving. On the evenings when I'm coming home and I'm tired and I want to relax, the correlation between relaxing and having a beer seems to be sort of ingrained. When I think I want to chill now, or I want to have a rest, I generally think I need a beer, but I need to sort of rewire my brain a little bit. But you're right, I'm going to be much more productive not drinking, less tired, more patient, less anxious. Yeah, for sure. Download Scottish Widows. That's an adventure to explore. Oh my god, Matt. You guys are on fire tonight. Do you literally hate the word literally? Literally, mate. That was literally the best description of why two people are literally better than one. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to call it there, guys. Remember, boosted members, I'm gonna remove the link for the Google Drive soon, and all of your boosted images will now reside in this folder here in the Discord. So to access the boosted images, you need to be in the Discord. You're going to get so much more value for your money every month, because I'm going to be constantly updating this every single week with all of my latest before and after pictures. So this is the place to be. 100% well done. Keep going. It's well worth it. Glad I found your channel. Good, honest channel. Oh, nice. Thanks, Polly. How much bags of sand is needed for 50 square meter monoblock driveway? It depends on the size of the joints. But if you want a rough guesstimate, 50... Did you say 50 square meters? Have a look on smelt.club. This one says around about 3 bags based on 1 bag per 15 square meters ish. That's quite conservative. 15 square meters for 1 bag is like on the high end. You probably, if the joints are quite thin, you probably get away with maybe 2 bags, but see how you get on. Take more than what you need anyway. Smelt.club if you need a hand with any of your pricing. Thanks to XTX, mate. See you in a bit. We'll catch you on Wednesday evening. Yes. Thanks for being the soothing tone in the background. No worries. Is my voice soothing, is it? How do you price cleaning gutters, soffits, fascias, especially the fascia all around the house, up the peak of the house, front and back? Yeah, it's difficult to price that, actually. I'm around about £45 per side. So gutters, fascias, soffits, just to wash the externals, around about £45 per side. The dormers, is it dormer? Maybe more like £20 per side if there's no gutters or soffits to clean on the sides, you know what I mean? It depends. I'm still not quite satisfied with my pricing on those yet. And then to vacuum the gutters, I'm at around about £40 per side. I don't get those. I'm too tight to pay enough per month. What are we talking about? I can't remember. Not sure. Sign up to the Discord, ask those questions with loads of peeps to respond. There you go. Thanks for answering questions. Hopefully I'll be able to catch next stream. Can you get to ask questions once a week on here for $4.99 a month? You can ask them 24/7. Oh, Glenn. Yeah, if you want to, if anyone does want to sign up to the Discord, I do spend quite a lot of time in here answering questions every day. I do my best anyway, and if I can't answer questions, usually people have already jumped in before me. Very, very, very cool community that we've got here, and everyone's the knowledge base in this Discord is growing. So chances are, if you've got a quick question, drop it in here, and someone will know the answer. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a lovely evening. and I will see you next week. Good video coming next week. See you in a bit. Now these videos take a lot of time and effort to film and edit on top of trying to run a successful pressure washing business. If you find any of the information in my videos useful, then I'd like for you to consider becoming a paid member of the channel. Circle members and above will get access to my private Discord for members only, where you can pretty much get a hold of me 24 hours a day for inspiration, technical help, marketing advice, or just a general chat. I post pictures and videos that you won't see on any of my other socials. You'll be the first to hear about giveaways, special offers and announcements, and it's just generally a nice place full of like-minded people who are all heading towards similar goals. We've got various different experience levels. We've got a few professionals in the chat as well. If you want to push your business, in my opinion, this is the place to be. We also have two other membership tiers. One is just to show a bit of support for the channel, and the other one is for boosted members, which will not only give you access to the private Discord, but also loads of high quality promotional images for you to start your business. I know what it's like when you're ready to get going but you don't have any before and after pictures to put on your leaflets. At the moment there's about 150 images that you can use for pretty much whatever you like, and my intention is to constantly update these over the next few years with all of my before and afters that have helped promote my business. Last thing before I let you go, new videos come out every Monday night at 5:30, and then I go live at 7:30 to chat to you guys and answer as many questions as possible. We do live quotes for real customers and just generally keep up to date with everything going on in the pressure washing world. Thanks for watching, back to the video.